It's the Giant Bombcast for today, which is the date is it's May 19th.
19th be with you.
19th of
And with your spirit.
That's right.
it's enthusiastic hand motions here.
It's enthusiastic hand motion Monday here.
We're reaching the roof of May.
Tuesday?
Yeah, beware the 4 days past the Ides of May.
Meltdown May? Anybody having a meltdown?
It's time for a May meltdown.
All right, spin the wheel. We're gonna see who's gonna have the meltdown this week.
It's me.
Jan,
Go
taking
on.
over the spot from last week's. What's it say?
Come on down.
I don't know what that. All right, okay. What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Jeff Gerstmann, and we're here. Brad Shoemaker is here. Brad Shoemaker
I'm
is back.
here. Yes.
Brad Shoemaker is in the house.
I'm mostly back here. Yes. Hello. Hi.
Brad Shoemaker is alive and well.
Yes, very well. Everything is perfectly fine upstairs right now.
How is your I guess your face zone? What's going on?
What do you want
to? The doctors tear your head apart?
There was a lot of plumbing work done in the upstairs. There's not supposed to be plumbing upstairs, right? Isn't all the plumbing supposed to be downstairs?
You want
There could still be pipes upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely pipe downstairs.
Several ectomies and oscopies took place.
They ram cameras up your nose?
And a plasty, I believe. Yes, there was in fact a high-tech camera way up in my head. Apparently, I understand.
Did they just get up in there and go like, "Well, this all has to go"?
I wouldn't know because I wasn't aware. The nice man said, "I'm going to give you something to relax you," and that's the last thing I remember.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it was really something. Yeah.
You painted me a very visceral image where you said you looked like Andrew WK on the cover of his seminal album.
Yeah, you know the one, right? Did that immediately paint a picture? Yeah, for the first few days, every time I showered, that's what I looked like at the end of the shower.
Yeah,
right.
It was pretty good.
So just like did the steam set you off? Like what?
No, I was having to do a rinse. I'll do a saline,
okay.
shoot the saline up the nose kind of thing.
Right.
And
I am so bad at shooting anything in my nose.
Yeah.
I'm bad at drugs. I don't like needles.
Yeah,
I don't like stuff up my nose. I'm an asthmatic.
It's bad.
What about bath salts? Those are easy.
Ooh, I should
That's
try.
true,
I should
yeah.
switch to that. Right now, I'm just using regular salt, which is way more boring.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Almost got me at the stage of crocodile. That's where I'm at.
Oh boy, then you won't have a nose anymore.
Yeah. Problem solved. That's just like a mix of like crocodile and Afrin, just a 1-2 punch, just every hour, go from one to the other.
There you go. And don't stop for anything.
That's right. Until the wheels fall off, as they say. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
It'll be fun. Are you ever just like exploding into a bloody mess
No,
or anything like that?
No bleeding from the nose for about a week and a half now.
Okay.
But I had some of the inside bleeding kick back up last night, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'll spare
that's
you
a good
the
time.
Unless you want to enable graphic violence, I will spare you the details.
I'm not checking the box.
Okay.
The torture box I'm okay with.
It's pretty gnarly. But
yeah,
just forgive me if I have to excuse myself briefly.
Yeah, no, it's that sounds super fucking intense.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ben Pack is also here. Speaking of super fucking intense,
What am I intense about?
I don't know, like lifting. I don't know, like what do you headbands? I feel like evoke a certain amount of intensity of an '80s persuasion. But I think, yeah, there you go.
He just had it.
Fucking Jesus Christ, man!
Wow,
he just he's ripped it out. It's just reps, just fucking reps, bro.
It's for when I'm like dead in a Dota game. I just pick that up, do a few curls.
Yeah, no, I had a roommate who did push-ups whenever he would die in SOCOM or Planet Side, and
SOCOM. Wow,
he got pretty. He got a lot of upper body. He did, yeah, he did all right by him.
I have to commend the headgear game on this podcast. Outside of me, there's a lot of good variety. Some good.
I saw that everyone else had one.
Personal,
so I felt like
a lot of personal. Like, so I feel lame over here wearing the house brand, while everybody else has got a nice,
whatever. That's
nice degree of personal expression going on.
The house brand. Hey, speaking of the house brand, Giant Bomb Premium memberships are on sale right now.
How long are they on sale
for the month of May.
Wow.
Act now. This quiz counts for gift subscriptions. This counts for your own subscription. If you want to extend an existing subscription for another year, you can. This sale is live and in your face at giantbomb.com/upgrade. It is kicking. Yeah, absolutely. It is. If you want to have a real meltdown May, might I recommend melting down online while watching Giant Bomb premium content. GiantBomb.com/upgrade has all the details. You could get ad-free version of this show. You could get all this extra. We got the most chilled out, fucking laid the fuck back motherfucking Minecraft stream on the internet.
That's right.
It was so fun.
Good.
I kind
We've
of
got a farm going now.
I kind of just want to talk about Minecraft.
Oh,
sad.
We went to hell, and even that was somehow chill. There were just dudes there with swords just standing around. They didn't want trouble. Hell's for children. Hell's fine.
I saw Jan deflect. There was like a big old jellyfish monster, and it shot at Jan. I was like, Jan, look out. And he like swung his sword and deflected that shit back at him, Ganon style. And just
it was the power of the big dog.
You know, they always say how dark and hot hell is, but they never talk about how welcoming it is.
Yeah.
It's just,
who knew?
It's pretty chill.
It's a PR nightmare.
Yeah. Jan, I feel like you have retained, I feel like you are a fountain of Minecraft knowledge. How did you get there? Is it just, because like this is the most I've ever played Minecraft. This is the most I have ever played Minecraft. And I have played it over time to time over the years, but I chose Terraria and got deep into that instead. So like, I still don't know how the fuck redstone works. I still don't know any of that shit, but like, I feel like you've got a real knowledge of just like, no, you need to put, this is the recipe for this. You need to put this and then to build the portal. And then we go like you and Abby both, which leads me to believe it's a generational thing. It's an age thing.
I think it might be. Like I think my knowledge of Minecraft ends after like, God, I don't even know what update they'd call it. But as soon as they added underwater temples, I was done. And I think it was just like a bonding thing with my little cousin, because you know, she didn't play too many games and she didn't really know how to like control with like a keyboard and mouse, and that was like a way to ease her in.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I guess it was like fucking deluge and flood of YouTube Minecrafters, which has somehow made a resurgence.
Wait, are you saying there are Minecraft videos on YouTube?
I don't know. There's a couple of them. I wouldn't go around sharing them at all. But you know, if you want to learn how to build some fancy structures or something, or watch some time lapses, or just watch people dig, then thank God there's giantbomb.com/upgrade for the whole month of May.
That's right. Get in there and dig. That has been yeah, I just like I don't know that I necessarily want to know how redstone works. Like I'm not here to make contraptions. I'm here to make cozy, weird underground cave spaces and such. And
I did a bunch of inset floor lighting right before we ended on Friday, and I wanted to keep going.
It looks real good.
Pretty excited about it.
It looks real good.
We still need to settle on a material for the floor, though.
Yeah, no, that's we'll have to figure that part out. But yeah, no, Vinny is like Vinny has a real knack for the redstone stuff.
He was definitely playing the role of like contractor, setting up lights for Abby's farm and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, it's been fun having everyone take on different roles. Though I feel like that's the thing. Like, you know what? I just want to dig, man.
You're doing great at it.
I get it.
I feel like I'm getting down there. Getting way down there.
Also, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I did a little looking into it, and it seems like a Terraria server is probably totally doable.
Great.
So
awesome.
Jeff, you got around with that update much?
I installed
it.
Yeah, so I installed it. They you know, to just get into the news here, but they did release a weirdly fucking massive update. Like, you know, they were like, oh, this is our final update, and I figured like it'd be like a Mario Maker 2 thing of just like, oh, this is some okay stuff, but like whatever. And then it started reading through the patch notes, and it was just like every single patch note was like this seismic shock. I was like, my God, man, as they went through it. And yeah, so I loaded it up and I dug down deep. So I have a character that is like has a ton of shit, and I can't remember if I got it legit or not, because at some point, like, I was playing characters and losing characters, playing characters. Like, I got to a point where I was just like experimenting around with so many different things in Terraria. that I just started cheating and editing worlds and editing saves and just like messing around. So I'm pretty sure this character did not get all this stuff legit. So it didn't matter. So I spawned as that character in a world that I hadn't really messed around in much, and dug down and blew myself up on some kind of contraption, got an achievement for stepping on a trap, and was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I don't care if I lose that character's stuff because it's not real to me. I want to start a fresh character on this update and do stuff. But yeah, they've added like a happiness system for NPCs.
God, I don't think it had NPCs at all last time I looked at it.
Okay, it's had them for a while. So, okay. But the idea is like, you know, you would have people move to a town and you would build rooms for them, and they would all do different things. Like they could be a shopkeeper or like that sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. So they'll take on different tasks, and now like you'll have, I guess, different NPCs will prefer different biomes.
Weird.
And so their happiness is affected by where they are, which is weird because like you used to like just have the most fucking like machined, like not realistic, like this is the exact minimum amount of space you need to attract this NPC, and we're going to put a big row of them, and they're all going to have their little tiny rooms and stand there and serve us.
Yep.
And now the idea that they might want to live somewhere else and you might need to trek out to see somebody if you want to keep them happy or whatever seems like potentially really cool. I don't know how much that actually matters.
I saw they added like a kind of equivalent to the Minecraft creative mode where like you can control the weather, you can duplicate items and stuff. That's cool. Like that seems pretty cool for the people who just want to make cool fortresses and shit.
Well, you might, and Matt Rory is another big Terraria guy. He was saying something about like that item duplication in a way that sounds like it might be part of the game. Like you research an item and then you can just make more, which is fucking kind of wild too. So I have not dug into the new update, but I'm really looking forward to that's pretty cool.
How does it handle? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How does it handle characters? Are they tied to servers, or do you take a character all over the place?
No. So
really?
Well, maybe it's different per server. Maybe servers can have specific things, but there was definitely like I have one character and I'm going to bring it into my single player world and then bring it into a multiplayer world. And so you would have a situation where, like, when I was playing with people years ago, we definitely had our, like, these are our legit characters we're playing on the server with. And then it was like, sometimes someone would join as the character they use the save editor to build and just have like a billion of every, you know, just like the sword that shoots swords and all this other ridiculous bullshit. And like, oh, I've got maximum mana and everything else. And all that. So it seemed like I want to say you can move a character around. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's still the case. It's been a long time since I've played any significant amount of Terraria, but
and this is it.
I did like it a lot. And yeah, this is it. There's never been a better time to play Terraria, I guess.
Like, it's true. I got into it with a group of friends a few weeks ago, and we only played for like twice for a few hours, but it honestly, that game, like Minecraft, is one of those like nice, like it fits like a glove. You know, you hop back in and just immediately you're doing what you remember you were doing, what you enjoyed doing back when you were playing.
And the Terraria people are not the Starbound people, right?
It's what is it? There's I want to say it's the artist from Terraria, but not the rest of it.
Okay.
There is some tie there, but I don't think it's I think it's the artist did the art for Starbound, but it's different people or something. And I don't know what to deal with Terraria, because at some point with Terraria they said like, we're gonna do Terraria 2 and also we're doing this other Terraria thing, and then a bunch of stuff got canceled and uncanceled and whatever else. I didn't follow that stuff super closely to know what they were doing next, but I guess like if they're wrapping this up, then I don't know if that means that like, hey, they've got a Terraria 2 that they're thinking about or what the deal is. But hey, I would be down to check out this Terraria, and if they do something else or do something, a follow up or whatever it is, I would be down to check that out as well. It was one that they wanted to do like a story based thing or something. I thought
weird.
I forget what it was. There were a couple of different things that they had announced that I think got killed or whatever. But yeah, I would love to. Yes, I would love to get on a Terraria server and do some stuff as well. Though I just want to dig. That's all.
I get it.
And also get like the ability to jump 4 times and hold balloons so that I don't take fall damage and all the other cool Terraria shit.
Yeah, the cool Terraria shit. I always could never wrap my mind around. Like I had a friend pop into like a friendly server, and he was all decked out, and I think I was just covered in dirt. And he was just like grappling around, and it was like,
yeah, exactly. Like I've got 3 grapple hooks, and I can jump 4 times, and I have a jetpack, and also I can't, you know, I don't take fall damage, so I'm just, and when I run, I haul fucking ass. Like when you really get all that stuff equipped, it's crazy. Like the mobility in that game is pretty wild. So yeah. So here we are. Hi, Jason A. Stryker is out on assignment. We wish him well. And hopefully he'll be back with us next week. What other than Minecraft and the nose situation, Brad, have you been messing around with any other stuff? Like
not as much as stuff as you would think. I've been I've spent probably about 40 hours since last week rebuilding my streaming setup, but I won't get into all the details of that. I did get
you're compiling command line interfaces
I spent 8 hours
to stream
this weekend trying to build a custom version of FFmpeg. Finally did it with the help of some very generous software developers and their expertise and time, but I won't get into it right now.
All right.
I might actually do, some people have asked for some kind of behind the scenes stuff on some of our home streaming tech. I might do a little deep dive on that stuff once I get it put together. But yes, somebody in chat says RIP and NDI and FFmpeg. I could not agree more. It sucks ass. Anyway, while I was convalescing, much of the time on a variety of medications, I got pretty deep into the turnip game. Pretty deep into the turnip game.
Oh, no.
I got pretty well acquainted with turnip.exchange. To borrow...
You would have to be on drugs to do this.
It was actually pretty fucking chill. Except for the part where I actually got to people's island, and I don't know if you've ever visited somebody's island when they have a lot of people coming and going at the same time.
Do you love taking 4 steps at a time?
Shit, man. Holy shit. What the fuck is that game?
I just wanted to leave Jeremy from the Giant Bomb universe. I just wanted to leave his island.
We can't let somebody enter this island because you have your inventory open. Please close your inventory.
When you're talking to someone, it's a disaster.
Take 6 steps. Oh, somebody else needs to connect. Let's watch the flight board for 45 seconds while they connect.
It's almost like it's a...
Well, I mean, this is not like stuff that you need to do in the game, right? This is people who want to exploit. It's people who want to...
Well, look, I mean, even playing with like 3 other people, like the setup involved in, if you're the first person to get to the island and then you have to wait for everyone else to connect, or you're the host or whatever, like that still sucks.
It does.
But it sucked. That sucked before. Like the 3DS online stuff like had a similar level of, hey, you don't have your inventory open. But like I feel like it was less generous with error messages or helpful pointers like close your menu. It was just like, this aired out, whatever. Like it was a little less graceful.
Yeah, it sucks. But all that said, listen, the fruits of this endeavor are lucrative. Excuse me, the vegetables of this endeavor are incredibly lucrative. Yeah. To borrow a term from Austin Walker, between me and my girlfriend, we moved 7 bricks of turnips last week.
Holy shit!
Oh,
for
y'all invested
for about a total of roughly 15 million bells.
So you're flipping birds then. All right.
We're really
yeah.
Guys making that Ozark money.
Yeah, some of those fine tubers.
I had a nightmare experience with Turnip Exchange because I was the fool who waited until Saturday night to try and get on there. And I waited literally 6 hours in a queue for turnip prices that were only like 280 per. I wasn't even getting like 500. It took so long. I had like 2 bricks. I brought one with me. I offloaded it, and by the time I got back, my store was closed on my island. I couldn't offload the other brick.
That's rough.
That's rough. Damn.
Also, after we made all that money, I haven't touched the game since.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want to short circuit the economy in that game to the point where you're just like, oh, I don't need to work for anything ever again. Oh wait, why am I doing this?
Pretty much. I think I
turnip I think that happened.
I finished Animal Crossing.
Right. That's sort of the thing that got me off of the 3DS Animal Crossing was when I really started doing really lucrative loops to, like, you go visit an island and catch rare bugs, and then those are worth money. and you have a couple of good bug runs over there, and you come back and you're like, oh, I have more money than I know what to do with now, and now I'm like, I can build any of the public works, or like I've upgraded my house all the way, and it really became like what am I doing this for? Like it really kind of short-circuited the whole thing, that until my wife started playing it, I didn't touch it for a long time. But yeah, so I guess I haven't really looked into this myself, but I guess some data miners apparently, if what I heard was to be believed, the data miners have found gyroids in some aspect of Animal Crossing, implying that maybe they'll get patched in at a later date or something like that. So at some point you will get the real Animal Crossing experience of hoarding gyroids like a fucking maniac.
What does a gyroid do?
It makes cool noises. It sits in your house, or I guess now it can sit anywhere in the island, and it will make a cool noise, and each one makes a slightly different noise.
Ooh.
So and they sync up really well in a way that you just want to just fill an entire basement with them and turn on as many as can be on at once and just listen to it and just go like, yeah.
Just sit there in your creepy gyroid basement.
Yeah, you want to chill out in your gyroid basement and just fucking relax, and it's the best. Gyroids are the best.
Just roid out.
Yeah, I always felt there should be like a museum, like some kind of separate gyroid thing in the museum, or you can just go to and just see them all and turn them all on and off and just play with the gyroids and stuff. But
Gyroid Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. But they have no respect for fucking gyroid. They launch with them in the fucking game. Sad, bro. It's just garbage. Anyway, Animal Crossing.
I've been
Ben,
trying
what do you...
for 2 months to get the same village. The same villager will not leave my goddamn island.
Wait,
I've
you're
tried every tactic that everyone is.
You're not on the dreamy tip, are you?
Dreamy?
Oh, no.
It's like the ranking of desirable villagers.
Oh, I looked at that and I was surprised that we have like 2 in the top 10, but I like them. We're not going to get rid of them.
Who do you have?
We have Whitney and I forget who else is in the top 10. Hold on. Let me just pull up Animal Crossing villager tier list and start trying to sell.
I like Nintendo. I feel like Nintendo is aware. I got the Animal Crossing skin for Tetris 99 last night, which I almost missed. And in the background is perennial favorite Raymond, like front and center, real big. It's like they know. I think they know.
Fauna, who is at number 9, is my other.
Okay, all right.
Can't you just go to your town hall and say, I want this villager out? I feel like that was the path in the 3DS one where you could just literally kick them the fuck off.
You can have Isabelle talk to them, which I've done, but I don't know what that accomplishes.
How is Isabelle going to give them a talking to? She's so nice. I
I
don't feel like
Isabelle would just, in the previous game, I could have sworn that if you just went to Isabelle and said, fuck this guy. I guess I never did it. So, but the language around it always made it sound like you could just say this person sucks.
Isabelle is not going to exercise the firm hand necessary that a talking to implies.
Okay. Yeah, some people in chat are saying that maybe that's just a way for you. The give a talking to will remove. It sounds like it'll probably like remove the catchphrase. So like if you get a villager from someone and their catchphrase is motherfucker or something,
Satan.
yeah, and you want to clean them up, you can talk to Isabelle and that'll clean them up, but it won't actually kick them off.
Is it common knowledge like that's why everybody wants to demand Nook Mile tickets for entry to their island? Do you guys know about that whole economy?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know why. I haven't touched the game.
People want you to pay them in Nook Mile tickets when you come and get their turnip prices because they want to burn trips to other islands over and over and over trying to find the exact villager that they want to invite in.
Oh,
and since there are something like 400 villagers in the game, that can take an awful lot of tickets.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We got a frog who's a robot.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
What's its name?
Ribot.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
All right. Ben, you playing anything else? What else are you into?
Playing a bunch of Apex. Season 5 launched last week. They're back on Kings Canyon, so I mean, changes. It's like there's a new character, Loba. I've been playing as her pretty lately. She's pretty cool. She's got like a teleport, and her ult is like you drop a little beacon and it sucks up all the loot in a pretty large radius to a little convenient shop, and everyone can run up and pick 2 things from it. And she can see like high tier loot through walls, which is pretty dope. I was really excited because I knew that this is when the patch that they were adding the PvE stuff to. And if you remember last week, I was excited as that was like, this seems like a really good way to get people who aren't really into competitive shooters, maybe just to get their hands on it, or people who haven't played since season 1 and don't necessarily want to play a bunch of games where they die over and over again. But did you guys know how you actually get the PvE stuff?
You have to like find the quest. It's like 9 different, was it like a series of different missions that you will find as like tickets or items.
Random treasure boxes drop from chests, and you have to grab one of those treasure boxes, and you can only get one every 24 hours.
Oh,
so you need to like play multiple times a week over the course of a week if you want to do it. I thought that was miserable. I mean, we're gonna see how the actual gameplay of it is because it launches today. I play the game a lot, so I happen to have enough of the treasure boxes to do it. But like, I can't go to my friends who I was going to go to before and be like, "Yo, come play this with me.
Download this game, try it out. It's new." Yeah,
it's free. So I was a little disappointed on that front.
Yeah, well, maybe this ends up being a test for PvE stuff, and if people end up liking it, maybe they expand on it in a way that fleshes it out. They actually just believe this was a Gama Sutra article or GameHistory.biz, one of those two, but it sounds like that there's a new Respawn studio in Vancouver starting up, and it from what, if I was reading it correctly, it sounded like that maybe the ongoing Apex stuff might shift out there. Obviously, like, Respawn makes multiple games now between Star Wars and whatever else, and there was talk that, I guess, like around an earnings call or whatever it was last week or the week before, saying that basically that there was no Titanfall game currently in development.
I saw him saying that, and like I maybe run out of patience for like coy statements about what Titanfall is and isn't at this point.
Right.
I imagine that like the success of Apex probably changed a lot for them, right? I mean, and now like Respawn or Vince Zampella is overseeing like a DICE studio in LA and stuff. Like, a lot of things have changed for him and that studio.
I think that Star Wars
and the Respawn
really
brand.
Well.
So like, they're obviously going to make another one of those Star Wars games at some point and all of that. So I wonder, but anyway, like I imagine that if they build a new team that then is like going to be the ongoing Apex team or whatever, and obviously there's been some departures from Respawn recently. They went and started Gravity Well and are looking to hire up for that. But maybe you get to a point where you're getting back to like, okay, now we've got another team that is our shooter team, and what are they going to do next? But then they still have that Medal of Honor VR game in development too. So, Frying Pan, the trailers. If you haven't seen the trailer for that Medal of Honor game, it's actually like, seems kind of neat. I don't know.
Half-Life Alyx couldn't give you a crowbar, but Medal of Honor.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Maybe that'll be the interactions that Half-Life Alyx was missing. Hey, did Half-Life Alyx super just come and go?
Kinda. I still like, here and there, I still see people saying like, "Oh, I finished Half-Life Alyx, like they did it again, like Valve rules and stuff like that." Like, people seem to like it, but it did sort of, yeah.
I guess it's like only so many people own headsets, right? So
yeah. I think that's the thing. It's like it's one of those games where you could really like it, but then who do you recommend it to?
Sure, right. Anyone that has a VR headset, you should probably check it out.
And they probably are already.
Yeah, they're already playing.
Looking for any good VR
anything. Yes, yeah. So
plus, everyone now has Artifact Fever because those invites are coming out this week.
That's right. I have to check the email address that I have my Steam account tied to that I don't actually use. I actually have to start checking it because I got to get that Artifact invite.
Yeah, yes, of course. We all have to. I mean, I'm not an Artifact player, but I am an Artifact owner. Does that count?
Anyone can be an Artifact player, Jeff.
They said explicitly anyone with the game on their account will be hearing from us soon.
Yay!
Right?
Yeah.
You know what you did.
That's right. You know what you did. This game was good, and you fucked it up. Gabe's showing up with his knives. He's gonna carve his Artifact money out of you until he's satisfied. Yeah. Anyway. Respawn. I would love to see a new Titanfall out of them, but also we'll see. We'll see where it gets to. I don't know.
Yeah,
Jan, what do you? Well, go on.
I was just gonna say I'm glad that they're very keen on continuing support for Apex. Like them, saying that the studio is dedicated to it now is like a good sign for the future. It means like, I don't know, it gives them like a year or whatever of like able to plan out more characters, more events and stuff. I overall really like their events. I think they're kind of figuring out what the player base wants a little better as they go. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think there was a quote. I forget who was out of, someone on the EA side or something maybe, but basically the idea was like, hey, Apex could kind of be like a 10-year deal for us. Like,
Wow.
there's a lot of life in a ongoing free to play battle royale game. I have my doubts that if in 10 years we're still like very fucking focused on battle royale games, I will be very surprised.
Yeah. Have they even put out player numbers in a while? Feels like it's been.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like since Call of Duty started putting out a lot of player numbers and stuff, I haven't really heard a lot out of other.
It's just like, ugh.
Well, it's easy to, when you're starting from zero, it's easy to talk about your big gains out of the gate and all that sort of stuff. But for an established game like Apex or Fortnite or PUBG or whatever, it's about retention and monthly active users and all those same vulgar sounding numbers that mobile games use. Which is like less sexy than this number of total players has gotten in or whatever. So I don't know. Jan, what are you playing these days? What are you into?
Other than Bloodborne, playing that on stream, I've been dipping back into Persona 5 Royal, and I'm liking it a lot. Again, I didn't play the original version, but there's a couple things I think still that bug me, and it's not necessarily like to this game exclusively. I think it might be to the series, and that I absolutely hate SP management. Like the items to alleviate that. Like, sure, you can get like the vending machine near your house every week, buy a soda there, or you'll come across some like very expensive items, and that bugs me. And the other thing that specifically with like a party-based RPG, that when your main character dies, I hate that it's a game over.
Yeah.
So I've been like trying to make like my main character as beefy as possible for like every encounter. And was it last week we were having a conversation about save scumming and like Fallout?
Yeah.
I finally ripped the Band-Aid off and stopped save scumming my social interactions to maximize all of them, because it was just adding so much more play time, because I wasn't getting the little audio cues of like, you did very well with this hangout. They're going to be your best friend now.
Yeah.
The 2 notes versus the 1 note.
Yeah. But I've been having fun with it though.
Here's a question. You're talking about SP mitigation. I remember this is one of the few things I remember from the first time I played it, because I was having the exact same problem. Have you been S-ranking up with your coffee dad?
Ben, you do not need to tell me to S-rank with my coffee dad. Okay. That's my favorite part of this game.
It's the best social link in the game.
It's really endearing. I really like the supporting cast of characters here. But geez, it's just so much more time management. And I already have a bad time socializing with my actual friends.
You have actual friends?
Like 1 or 2 of them.
Weird. Okay.
I look in a mirror and there's one of them.
Okay.
And it's just so many people to keep track of that I'm like making an Excel sheet of like, okay, Sundays I gotta spend with like the speech guy. Fridays and Saturdays I can call my teacher over and have weird activities together.
Your teacher maid?
My teacher maid that still insists on calling me master, and I'm not gonna say no to it, but like, hey, it's a little weird.
It's definitely at least a little weird.
Yeah. Oh, but you can buy SP bandage or adhesives from the clinic, and that'll like regen your SP every time it's your turn in battle, which has been a definite help. It's a little bit pricey though as an item.
Yeah, I feel like the SP stuff in Persona 4 was like, and I assume 5 is the same way, but it was like that was what forced you to end a day, right? It was just like if you've got X number of days to finish a dungeon, at SP, and SP recovery is the thing that prevents you from just like blasting through it in one day, which made it really fun and weird. So after we played through Persona 4 for the website, I started messing with it and started cheating my way through it, and gave characters infinite SP. And so you could basically do a thing where you finish a dungeon the first day it opens up, and then suddenly you've got all this extra time to just socialize and do other shit, and it like breaks the game in a really weird way when you take away that pressure. So like mitigating the SP thing in 5, I imagine that's largely by design, right? Because they kind of want you to progress days.
I have been managing to kind of like tackle a palace or a dungeon in that way of like, I'll get as far as I can, like maybe at least to the halfway mark, like the first time I get in there. And then when I absolutely don't have any more SP or any way to alleviate that, then I'll dip back out, come back in the next day, get to like the final point and stuff. I do think it's neat being able to just warp around to the different safe rooms and stuff. And then you can also go back to the entrance and then just swap out characters to begin with, which has been a way that I've been alleviating the whole SP pressure. But yeah, it's a good time all around. I just beat a boss that looks like Louis Anderson, and that made me feel good about myself.
Man, what is
beating up Louis Anderson, that would make me feel pretty good too.
What's that guy up to these days?
He's still alive, right?
Still out there?
Yeah.
Casino shows. I seem to remember.
It's Louis with an E, not an S, right? Is that right?
Yeah,
that's right.
I feel like he was doing a lot of Vegas stuff.
That seems about right.
Yeah,
seems like he's about ready for his like time in residence, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought was he maybe hosted because he hosted
the Feud.
The Feud, right? I want to say he was doing the Las Vegas because there's a Las Vegas version of the Family Feud.
What?
Is it like must be a live thing, right?
Yeah, it's a live show you can attend. And I want to say he was hosting that. Anyway, I don't know the exact career arc for Louis Anderson, but I seem to remember it was something like that. But
yeah, 9 years in Vegas.
Wow,
shit.
Move over, Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
that's right.
Chris Angel,
this fucking mind freak.
Britney Spears.
Cool. I have been. I think the thing I've been playing the most is Call of Duty. Still, like I'm coming back to that every night. They got about 2 weeks left on their current season, and I'm trying to decide how many levels I want to grind out of that battle pass before it expires. Like looking ahead and going like, is there anything here I really want, or is it all kind of whatever? And there's maybe about 10 more levels I wouldn't mind getting before that ends. They've made a lot of changes to like the value. So they have a thing called gun blueprints. And so it's basically, you'll get guns and you can unlock attachments for the guns and all that sort of stuff. But also if you haven't leveled up a gun to unlock all the attachments, there are blueprints that will come with attachments, kind of some attachments already unlocked. And so you will get these blueprints off of the battle pass, or you can buy them in some of their cosmetic packs and stuff like that. And kind of get that stuff. And so as playing the game over the last 6 months or however long it's been, I've piled up a lot of blueprints, and they've changed the way some of that stuff works, because there's also like a cosmetic aspect of like the blueprint will have the gun will look a certain way, be like, this one is red and has this other stuff on it. This one's covered in tape. And they made it so you can kind of mix and match some of those cosmetic looks to kind of further visually customize the guns, which is kind of a cool twist. But they've added things like tracer ammo, and I had to pay money for this. I really wanted to know. They put out a new lady, and I bought the lady, and it came with a gun that had, or two guns that had dismemberment on them.
Oh.
Which I thought was going to be some Soldier of Fortune style fucking carve these motherfuckers up. But I haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone explode into bits or whatever when being shot with this burst assault rifle or
bloody
whatever.
mess perk on there.
No, I haven't. So I don't know quite what that does. But it's this gun's got dismemberment. I'm like, all right, let's fucking see it. But yeah, I don't know. They put out anime skin packs and like so. because it's a battle. You know, they're gonna put out. This is the game that brought you the fucking weed leaf icons and all this. Like they put out a weed pack on 420. You know, they know
serious
what the fuck they're
military
doing.
shit. God damn
Blunt
it.
Yeah.
Force Trauma, I believe it was called.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good.
And so they've been leaning into dumb shit for a long time, and so they put out anime skins for guns that like shot pink tracer ammo and all this other stuff. But also now you can get skins for the vehicles in the battle royale mode. And they had an anime skin for this truck, and so it's this big old dumb military fucking pickup truck looking thing. And then it's just this dumbass anime skin for it, and you're just like,
Japan.
Hey, hang on. Are we talking like licensed actual anime, or is
No,
this like
no, fuck
generic,
no.
like their
Generic.
generic
It's like-
idea of anime?
yes, it's their
Which
it's
is probably
their
even better.
generic idea of
They
anime.
bought that
is-
a copy of the like Scholastic book, How to Draw Anime, and just scanned in those
Wait,
models.
did Scholastic
much.
really put out products that had the word anime on them?
Oh,
yeah, I
totally.
have
Oh my
one of those
God.
books.
Man,
Mhm.
I learned how to make a good right eye, and then I gave up.
I was born in the wrong era.
Yeah. So like I don't know, like all the cosmetic stuff is really kind of dumb in that game, but also there's been just enough of it that's like kind of slightly wearing me down in terms of just like I kind of want to see what like the dismemberment. I was like I want to see what dismemberment does, but it was disappointing in the end. But they changed up some of the stuff with the battle royale mode. They took helicopters out of it, which seems like a temporary thing because obviously they want to sell skins for the helicopters. But I don't know if there was some bug, or I think there was a bug where people were getting under the map in helicopters. So maybe they just had to take them out to fix it, or whatever the deal is. But so they're always rotating modes. They're always doing different things with the playlists in the competitive multiplayer. And they've also started rotating some things around for the modes that are open in the Warzone stuff. And so solos, like just playing alone, they've changed up, and now it's what they are calling BR stimulus solos. And it's basically if you have $4,500 on you when you die, you will respawn. The prison's shut, like the gulag stuff doesn't happen. You just parachute right back in if you have amount of money, and it's a temporary mode, obviously. Yes, it takes the money. And so you would get enough money to respawn 3 or 4 times over the course of a match, and it actually was super fun. Like it's cool. I think the gulag and the respawn concept that they kind of shipped with is cool. There's something very active about the just fuck it, I'm gonna parachute back in because I had enough cash to do so. It lets you get deeper into the game and have more players alive deeper into the game, which is kind of chaotic for late game stuff too. And that's fun. I assume it's time limited, like everything else, but so it's probably gone any day now. But yeah, I've been playing a fair amount of that, and just like 2 or 3 rounds a night or something. Just baby goes to sleep, get my little baby monitor over here, watch her, make sure she's not freaking out, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna just kill some people over here. And that's been good. What's that?
You're dropping in singles for that, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing solos. I just, it's always like random times when I'm gonna have time to get into stuff. So like the idea of like trying to link up with friends or whatever, and when is everyone gonna be available and all that stuff. Like it's just not. It ain't how I'm living my life right now. So yeah. It's a good thing they added a solo mode as quickly as they did, because I don't think I would be touching the battle royale stuff in that game at all if they had not. But yeah, so I'm playing that. I am playing some other stuff that is not out yet, and interested in that. But we'll talk about some of that stuff soon enough. And yeah, that's about it. Why don't we take a break? And
Yeah.
How's about we come back and we'll get into the news
That
after
sounds
this.
good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I was debating
Let's
whether to bring up the PC Engine, the compact disc read
Yeah.
but we can talk
All right,
about
well,
that
let's
later.
take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk about PC Engine
talk
CD
about that
games
later.
We'll talk about Riot Zone. We'll talk about the
Oh,
intro
boy.
to Riot Zone
Dude, that version of Golden Axe is so bad. Oh my
after
God.
this. Yeah. And we're back. Let's get into the news. The Mister now plays TurboGrafx CD game.
Sure does.
Top news, breaking news.
Finally.
It's like a Sunday morning surprise.
Yeah, as of I guess yesterday or I'm sorry, 2 days ago that rolled out.
Yeah.
It had already played regular PC Engine games, regular TurboGrafx games, but now it's the second CD system supported.
Yeah, not to get too straight into the weeds here, but I was surprised to see they just updated the existing core for that, because Sega CD has a whole separate core.
Right.
But I guess it's just different core authors doing what they want, right?
Or it could be a case of like, the Sega CD has different hardware in it that
Sure.
It's doing more than a TurboGrafx CD usually is.
Sure.
So it might just be that it fit together a little better or something like that. It's been cool. I don't know. The TurboGrafx 16, the PC Engine CD library is bizarre and fun to explore, I find. What have you been messing with?
So, first of all, the experience I'm having with that thing is whether it's like, PC Engine CD or Neo Geo or even like the more common stuff like the Genesis.
Yeah.
Like, I got that thing thinking like, oh, well, it'll be great to have like a cycle-accurate Super Metroid on demand so I can play all my old favorites.
Right, yeah.
And then it turns out I play each of those for about 90 seconds and go, yep, that's exactly how I remember that.
Yep.
But the actual value, is in discovering like weird bad shit and like ports that had no business existing and like weird licensed games and stuff like that, But as a kind of like corollary to that, like every time I get into one of those things, one of those libraries, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I immediately go like, I should stream this. I should wait. I should restrain myself because you can't fake the surprise a second time, right?
Sure, yeah.
When you go,
you can.
Oh yeah,
but yes.
When you go like, wait, this is what Double Dragon 5 is? Really? They made this a shitty, terrible fighting game? Really?
Yeah, no. Well, so that's
So like the point being, like I haven't dug too deep into any of that stuff because I'm trying to save it. But that stuff's fascinating.
Yeah, there are the Double Dragon fighting game for the Neo Geo is all right.
I tried that one too. Sure, okay, yeah.
Especially compared to the fucking that Double Dragon 5 or whatever the thing is that came out for like Genesis and Jaguar.
It's bad.
It's fucking terrible.
Bad.
It's fucking real bad.
Yeah,
it's worse than. It might be the worst fighting game ever created.
Wow. Wait, has it been analyzed?
I think it is on the list.
I'm getting the adjunct professor is shaking his head over here.
I mean, it can't be worse than Sonic the Fighters.
Oh, it's definitely worse than Sonic the Fighters. Sonic the Fighters is a competitive fighting game. It's perfectly balanced. It's got a lot of fun options with like how you spend your shield and like the resource management of shield. Like there's a depth to Sonic the Fighters.
The only depth to Sonic the Fighters is the fact that I threw my copy in the Pacific Ocean and it is now at a depth that is unreachable by humans without causing your eardrums to explode.
I have multiple digital copies available at my fingertips in this room that I could get to. I have a physical copy stored, like locked down.
I'll take care of it for you.
No, I'm taking care of it. It's a Sonic the Fighters is fine. It's a middling fighting game at worst. It's okay.
How about Sonic CD, which I booted up last night for what may be very well the first time ever? That's some theme song.
I think I like that one.
To me, it's the last good Sonic game, but also every time I go back to it,
you go, has there ever been a good Sonic game?
Well, yeah, that's certainly
a good one.
Sonic Mania is really
Sonic
good.
Mania is pretty good. Sonic Mania, that's like kind of like how you remember the Sonic games being in a lot of ways. Like, oh, I remember these games being good, but then you go back to them and you're like, oh, maybe they weren't.
Oh, I was a child.
Yeah.
Why are you guys attacking me?
Sonic 1, 2, and CD. That was the original good run of Sonic games, and everything since then.
Oh yeah, I actually tried Sonic 3 briefly for the first time, and it was just like, what?
Yeah, they ruined Sonic.
Wow.
They redrew him. He looks like garbage. But they did add like the cool fire bubble and some of the other stuff there. So like, there's some cool stuff. and there's that dumbass carnival music. But
you want to talk about cool stuff though? I will tell you the one experience I had with the PCE CD that I'm ready to talk about is going, what the fuck? They made Golden Axe for this thing, and firing it up and finding that it has a full-on Final Fight CD style, like synth out 80s
like
range soundtrack.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, it's a terrible version of Golden Axe, but it's the music is pretty fucking good.
Hell yeah. There's a version of Strider for that has like cutscenes.
Wow. Shit.
It's a wild library, and there's also a lot of stuff that's just unplayable and fully Japanese in a way that you're just never going to be able to penetrate. But there's already been English translations of Rondo of Blood kicking around. Like people have pulled apart that PSP version of it and pulled the audio out of it, and then put that audio into the PCE CD version. If you want some English in some of those cutscenes, and also did subtitle work and some other stuff like that. And that's kind of cool. There's not a ton of translations of a lot of those Japanese games for that platform, though. There's a Sailor Moon game that someone translated, and like a handful of others, but there's some stuff that's still a little lost if you don't speak the language. But yeah, it's a weird library in a way that like the Sega CD isn't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool to see. Whereas like the Sega CD was capable of FMV, and it came out at a time when everyone was just trying to make their own shitty take on Dragon's Lair. Like it's really just like a storage increase for TurboGrafx 16 games. Right. So it's like, oh, now we have storage space for a better soundtrack and these kind of lightly animated cutscenes that are not full FMV for the most part. And it's just that stuff's like it's a fascinating like decision that they made to not go into that shitty FMV direction with most of those games.
I am looking forward to finding out what It Came from the Desert is after, 25 years? More than that. Because that was always the aspirational TurboGrafx CD game to me, was looking at pictures of that going like, man, what the fuck is that game? Like, I want to play that.
Yeah.
It's not good, but I'm going to find out.
It's not. Hey, find out for yourself.
Yeah.
And then play Fighting Street, their version of Street Fighter 1.
Oh, boy.
Which is accurate in that it's bad, the same way Street Fighter 1. You can't sit here and tell me that Sonic the Fighters is fucking worse than Street Fighter 1. I won't. No, I'm thinking this. The more I think this through, the more I'm right and Ben is wrong. Sonic the Fighters is okay.
Science will have to be reapplied.
Yeah, I was not there when that science. That game is, if you're building a tier list, Sonic the Fighters is like a solid, like at worst, it's like a C+ game. At worst. You could maybe say, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Sonic the Fighters is the best fighting game ever made. I think it's fascinating. I think it's weird, and that makes it stand out in a way that
that's the
other
first
games
thing
don't.
you've said that I agree with.
Like it's cool that they've made a fighting game based on all these weird fucking side Sonic characters, and everyone's fucking OCs just made their way into like whatever the fuck these idiots wherever they came from.
The dingbat.
Yes, like that's great. That's the best part of that game. And then it plays like okay for what it is, but it's like it's okay. You're just like whatever. Yeah, you just don't understand the hidden depth to Sonic the Fighters. I think you're ignoring real depth from a real fighting. A real Sonic the Fighters is a real one.
I just pulled up the list and I haven't seen it in a while. I think Sonic the Fighters, not as a scientist, I'm not qualified.
Well, neither's Ben.
I think it might be better than Fight Club, at least. I can't believe we ranked it lower than Fight Club.
Fight Club had Fred Durst.
Yeah, but like...
And Abe Lincoln.
But is Sonic the Fighters like really worse than BioFreaks?
No.
Yeah, BioFreaks rules.
As someone
that's a fighting game.
For reasons I don't want to get into, as someone who played BioFreaks 48 hours ago...
Of course.
Yeah. Look, you're going out of your way to play BioFreaks. You're not going out of your way to play Sonic the Fighters.
I don't have to go out of my way. I got it everywhere.
Sonic the Fighters is always with you.
That's right.
One lady's like a
right
bee or whatever, and she's got like wings and can slice them up. Fly
It's like-
around. Can't do that in Sonic. There are no
SEO
guns in Sonic.
Alien, Fang the sniper. There is guns in Sonic. The Fang the sniper. He has a pistol, right?
It's not the same.
Oh. He is also known as Knack the Weasel, according to this Sonic wiki. Well, all right.
Oh, you got into
Look
the
at
Sonic
you.
wiki.
Look at you.
We need
You're
to-
on a Sonic wiki now. That's where you're at. That's where your head's
That's
at.
what
That's
you've
why we
become.
can't trust this.
I feel dizzy all of a sudden. That game's all right. I want to play
For me
more.
to poop on.
Oh God, how dare you?
Who is Bean the Dynamite?
Yeah, a character in a game called Sonic the Fighters. Bean
no.
the Dynamite. That's the Fred Durst of the Sonic universe.
They're wearing a fashionable bandana, so it's just like Fred Durst.
Pretty much. Let's get into the rest of the news. I was running a test stream to test out some bitrate stuff, and streamed out some of that TurboGrafx, some of that PC CD stuff, PC Engine CD stuff, and I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out some ways to get into that library a little deeper.
Yeah.
The intro to the Dragon Ball Z game on that platform is fucking it goes. They went in on that intro.
Speaking of
right.
real quick. Speaking of both fighting games and intros,
Mhm.
as somebody who is pretty not into the fighting game scene, I might
Yeah.
do a ranking of King of Fighters intros or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all so good.
Because there are some fucking amazing intros in that series.
Yeah.
Because I never played
yeah.
those games, and I was just like, I want to see what a King of Fighters is about. And I fired one up, and I was like, whoa! Like hair blew
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, that's
They really went for it in the attract mode of those things.
I think it's got to be 98, but I don't know. They
I don't know. I don't know about those verses in that song. If it's 98, if 98 is the one I'm thinking
Yeah.
about, I don't know.
They have bars. They cashed in all their bars for the KOF 98 intro.
Anyway,
All right. What else is going on? Unreal Engine 5.
yeah.
They're going to make a
Yeah.
fifth Unreal
You
Engine.
mean Unreal Engine V?
Yes. V has come too and brought with them the most fake Tomb Raider game you
Yeah.
could ever. Well, not a game. It's not a game. They showed a demo called that they are calling Lumen in the Land of Nanite, which is something that is testing some of the different things that they're showing in the engine.
I think they did say it is playable, right? Like they could,
right.
They
It's
can't
a
run
thing
the
that-
character around in it, but it's
It's
not.
a thing with a controller. It's an interactive thing, but it's not something that they're intending to release commercially. But it did show kind of the different things they're doing. Like this was a GDC style
Kinda, yeah.
presentation, and it sounded like something that they had originally intended for GDC, but did here instead. And I thought that this looked really nice.
Yeah, like they at least had the goods to back it up, you know? Like they were showing it as they were talking about it, as opposed to just like, here's a slide, here are some diagrams.
Exactly. It was like, here's this thing. We're gonna move the lighting around and show some of this different stuff and show how, why this matters. I think they did a good job. Maybe not, it's not the flashiest thing. I don't expect people like the game buying public to be falling all over themselves for this thing, but developers seemed to be pretty into it. From what I could tell, some of the different particle systems and effects and triangles.
Yeah,
so many triangles.
all that stuff. Like just on the labor side, like just the sheer amount of time involved in making video games, like the streamlining of the asset pipeline for that stuff, like not having to spend time hand tuning levels of detail for shit, and like
Exactly.
pre-computing a bunch of normal maps for characters and light maps for maps and shit like that. It's just like, hey, here's the model from the movie straight in the game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's huge.
That seems like
that stands out to me. I mean, like I think we're really coming up on diminishing returns for how realistic we can make video game rocks look. I've played Death Stranding. We've already got some pretty good looking rocks. Like visually, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, it's a good looking video game. And I guess it looks more realistic. But like when you realize that smaller companies can now use these assets easier, like it just makes it trickles down. Like, yes, it's going to look really nice on huge AAA games, but also it's going to let indie creators create some really nice looking stuff without having to worry about that.
That's the hope. Yeah, is that it helps smaller teams cut some corners and get assets into the game more quickly. Asset generation still seems like it'll be a huge bottleneck. Like if you wanted to make a full game that looked like this tech demo, you still have to make a lot of fucking assets.
Totally. It's just that you only have to make the really good assets now. You don't have to like sit there manually making
them
a bunch of like slightly less good looking ones that the engine just handles all that stuff.
Right, yeah, which that's cool. Assuming it works as advertised and all that stuff, that seems that's the thing that I think has developers pretty excited. But also a lot of this stuff seemed like it was loosely aimed at VFX studios and movie and television production and that sort of stuff, because they used, was it like the Mandalorian used Unreal Engine, didn't it?
Yeah, they are doing some wild shit with that thing, like basically virtual sets with the big giant like 360 degree like LED screens all the way around.
Right,
and like they are just broadcasting live rendered backgrounds behind the characters that they are actually filming.
It's pretty neat.
It's pretty wild shit. They put a bunch of like kind of behind the scenes videos of that stuff out there. It's fascinating.
Yeah, so like that's the world, like that's the airspace that Unreal Engine already populates.
Right.
So if they, like stuff like this is probably going to make it more useful for people in those scenarios as well.
And I've seen people float the idea, like, who knows if this will come to pass, but like, what would it mean to take those backgrounds from The Mandalorian and drop them right into a game now? If you're taking high res stuff like that and just putting it straight in your game, like, obviously, like, movie and TV licensed games are not what they used to be, but like, you know what I mean? Though it's like, you've got stuff that's in like feature films suddenly just maybe getting dropped into games now. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, and again, like maybe that helps. Like I keep saying, I think the part that ends up being the hassle is still that asset generation layer. But if you can cut as many corners as possible, and if you happen to be making a movie-based game or whatever, if you can actually just leverage those assets directly, which it's never going to be as clean as that, right? But because you have to, it's different camera angles. It's going to be, you're making a game. It's behind the back. It's this, it's that. It's not necessarily something that gets projected behind a character and all that sort of stuff. So I just wonder how robust the assets being created for a TV show end up being if you had to pull them out of that specific angle and use them for something else.
They very well might not stand up to scrutiny if you were able to walk right up to them or something. But
right, yeah, but at the same time, like if it helps cut some corners and get them started, then that's cool too. I don't know.
The big thing, like, I know it sounds super mundane, but as somebody who plays games, like the big thing in that demo to me that kind of impressed me was when they just like moved the camera in and out toward the rocks and back. And you notice there is no like hard, rigid level of detail popping in and out. Like that's apparently just gone. And like, think about how long that's been there. Like,
it's a pretty
top of line games. Like right now, like you walk forward in the biggest game on the market right now, you're still going to see objects like popping in and looking better in pretty ugly ways as you get closer. Like to eliminate that stuff seems pretty big.
Well, I think a lot of that will depend on the power of the platform you're running it on, right? I mean, there may still be scenarios where just to optimize something to maintain a stable frame rate on that platform, you're going to want to do something like that. But I guess I don't know.
Yeah, the stuff is extremely heady. I tried to read about how they're doing some of the stuff they're doing, and it's a lot.
Well, they're saying that that, like, this will work on current consoles as well. Like UE5 games can theoretically ship on a PS4 or an Xbox One and that sort of stuff.
I didn't see that. They also said I also saw them saying that they don't like the earliest games will ship on UE5 is like end of next year.
Right. Yeah.
So the stuff is a ways off.
Yeah. So maybe no one will be making PS4. Well, I don't. We'll see. I was going to say no one will be making PS4 or Xbox One games by end of next year, but we'll see how many people can afford to buy new consoles when they ship, and what that ends up doing to game development and all that other stuff. Anyway, it was an impressive demo. They attached it to the PS5. They it seemed like maybe some money got spent there. I don't know what the arrangement is there, but they definitely talked about, hey, this is running on PlayStation 5 hardware. And then this works great on PS5s, works great on PS5, and then Tim Sweeney got out not that long after and said, of course this will all work on other platforms. Like, yeah, it's a multi-platform engine. Don't be crazy. So yeah, that's
the power of co-marketing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it definitely like had like people going like, "Oh yeah, PS5," and you're like,
"Yeah,
it's Unreal Engine. It's gonna run on
yeah,
it."
right. Like this is the multi-platform engine of record, practically.
Right.
Like this in Unity.
Yeah, it's not.
At the same time, like Microsoft kind of left them that opening right after that showcase.
Oh well,
which,
yeah.
Like
sure.
I was not as down on that thing as a lot of people seem to be, but still, like people were hungry for just like show me the good shit, like show me the thing that looks generational.
Yeah, totally. And so this at least had that. It definitely had that. Yeah, that generational look. So that's cool. And I guess it's of course there was going to be an Unreal Engine 5, but as the talk around this like reveal started ramping up and people were like, oh, it's totally the UE5 reveal, I was like, oh right, they're gonna make a new engine. Of course they're gonna fucking make a new engine. Duh. It was a cool tech demo.
Yeah,
it was real neat.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, Sony has released an earnings report, and Kotaku has torn that apart into different pieces. The piece here is that they are not expecting the release window of the PlayStation 5 to change as a result of COVID-19 and the ongoing pandemic.
Which is like, that's in contrast to what Nintendo said recently, right? That was a software development? I forget what it was, right? But Nintendo was like
Nintendo was a little more careful in the like kind of unforeseeable circumstance end of things, but they were very much focused on the software stuff. And so that's the thing that even Sony isn't necessarily saying here is that software is on track. They are saying, well, let's see, the quote that Kotaku has pulled here is, regarding the launch of PlayStation 5, although factors such as employees working from home and restrictions on international travel have presented some challenges in regards to part of the testing process and the qualification of production lines, development is progressing with the launch of the console scheduled for the 2020 holiday season. At this point in time, major problems have not arisen in the game software development pipeline for Sony's own first-party studios or its partners' studios. So Sony's own games, they are saying, are progressing at pace, or without major problems, was what they're saying. And they have more or less said that the console itself is still on track. And so I guess that's big for them to get out there and say, hey, we haven't seen anything yet in our lineup, but we still don't know what their lineup is. So we don't know if that's like a really ambitious statement or not. Or I think the statement Microsoft made and the stuff that Nintendo said was a little more along the lines of just like, things are fine. We don't know. Like we're getting into it, and it's software development. We'll see.
Sure,
but things seem to be okay. So like that's why I think Microsoft has only really talked about Halo as being out this year, and we'll see what else they do.
Yeah, I imagine.
When's their next scheduled?
July
June.
is when they will show Halo.
Did they say Halo for sure?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
They shouted that out by name at the start of the last stream.
Okay.
They're like, we got first party stuff like Halo, blah, blah, blah.
I need to see what that Halo game is at this point. Like I just show it.
It's everything. It's infinite. It's anything you can imagine is there.
As long as you can imagine like somewhat different game from the previous Halos, but
a blue Master Chief.
Okay, yeah. So everybody's Master Chief, except you get to be whatever color you want.
Whoa! Oh man! And you take on quests.
And you get to pick your own name, your own Spartan name.
As long as it's John, you can pick the numbers that go after it.
I'm gonna be Frank.
Nope.
Man.
But what if you enter Frank and then your Master Chief is voiced by Frank O'Connor?
Okay. All right, now I'm in.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So I want to say that they have some news coming in June as well that isn't necessarily coming as part of like their Inside Xbox stuff. I don't know if it's part of IGN. I don't know who's got what, but I think there is something coming in June. And at some point soon here we will see something from Sony. They as part of this thing, they said, hey, we're going to be showing stuff off in the near future, which of course they are. I want to see what the fuck they've got, man.
Yeah.
I that's, Sony, I feel like, has been more mysterious, and some of their stuff has felt a little disjointed. So I just want to see the layout of just like, here's what we're thinking for games, and show some of that stuff off.
Yeah.
If it's going to be, like, do you think that they come with a Spider-Man sequel, since that was the tech demo they were using? It's just like, oh, well, we made this thing, so hey, we're going to do this. It's not a launch game, or or I wonder what comes as part of their first batch of games, if they really just focus on launch, or if it's like,
It's been like a year and a half since Spider-Man. I get to see them maybe having something to show, maybe.
Yeah.
By now.
Yeah, it's good. I would think that as soon as that game is a large scale success, you're like, make another one of those for the new thing.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Especially like, one of the earliest PS5 things that they showed off was that, like, look how fast you can
exactly.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
I want to.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
I want to see the box. Like, I know it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because it's just a thing under your TV, but I just, as somebody who is just fascinated with the business of making and selling consoles, I just want to see what the thing looks like.
I want to know what it sounds like when you turn it on.
Yeah,
I want to see what they do to the interface, because the PS3 and 4, the PS3 and the PS4 were not that different in terms of like that XMB interface. I want to see if they're going to try to carry that forward another.
The controller is.
I remember
different.
when we got that first PS4, we got a debug, I think, in the office before anything else, didn't we? For the PS4?
Yeah,
I'd swear that's what happened.
You're right. We did. We had a debug and nothing to run on it.
Because I distinctly remember you hooking that thing up and hitting the power button, and we were just like, "Huh, same beep as the PS3."
Same beep, huh?
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I imagine so they showed what looked a lot like a boot up sequence for the Xbox Series X.
Yes.
Right?
Major Nelson. Yes. Major Nelson put that on Twitter and said, "I'm happy to reveal this is the boot up for the." It's like more of an animation than we've gotten in a while, and it's fine. It's whatever. But I miss console boot up sequences because they kind of went away for a while.
Yeah, well, with the way the instant on stuff is going to work, you probably won't see it unless your power goes out or you're rebooting manually or whatever. But yeah, I thought that Series X startup animation, like the audio on it, had a very like classic PlayStation vibe to me, in terms of like, here's this little orchestral, like this little kind of thing, that had that PS1, PS2 vibe to it, which I wonder if they were just like, man, people really like that PS1, PS2. If we can evoke that, I don't know. I wonder.
I've seen some people floating the idea that the Series X is just going to use the same dashboard as the current Xbox.
No.
Is there any basis in fact, or is that just speculation?
I don't know that. I think that might just be speculation.
Okay.
I've seen people assume that as well, since there kind of is this. I think that's a vibe that this whole generation needs to either shake or embrace, the feeling of just like, hey, we're going to make wide changes, or we're going to make no changes.
Right, or this is just going to be seamless.
Ecosystem. Right, it's this seamless.
They made Blades. They know how to do it right.
That's the thing, man. Blades come from a different era.
I know.
Things you do
Before
with a
they were trying to sell you things as soon as you turn.
Look, Generation Remix has grown up. Okay.
Yeah, the weight that a console dashboard has to carry now is different than it was then.
You got to have your sponsored content. You got to have your deal of the week. You got to have.
Blades had all that shit.
Dude,
it just only had one unit per page.
Right. That's the difference.
Bring back the sponsored gamer picks.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's something that evoked the Blades. I think would be a fun nod.
The Blades.
Yeah, wake up every
Microsoft
morning.
is on you to evoke the Blades. Heed our warning.
I am the Blade Evoker, and I am here to evoke the Blades. I think actually, like, that would actually be very much in line with what I feel like they're trying to accomplish this generation, in terms of like reminding people that, like, we made the Xbox 360 and you guys like that. I think something that actually resembled the Blades, it would be smart for them to try to recapture that in a weird way. I think because if you think about it, like, everything needs to feel new and fast and exciting. And if you come and say, it's the same dashboard you're used to today, like, you just look at it and go like, this is exactly the same. Why would I buy this? Like, even if it's the exact same shit under the hood with a fresh coat of paint on it, you still have to do that just to make people think they're getting a new thing. And I think that's something like I wish the PS4 kind of went a little further, I guess, from but the XMB is mostly fine. The XMB is totally fine. It's yeah.
I like the PS4's interface. I think it is by far the most usable of the current consoles.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's but it's iteration on the PS3. It's like getting the PS3 stuff right, I think. Like there's some clunky stuff about the PS3 interface that they smoothed it out for PS4, but I think I would like to see them do something way more radical for the PS5. If it's just here's a tighter version of the XMB, like that's fine from a usability perspective, but I think like again, like you want, especially in an era where these consoles are going to be super fucking expensive or potentially be super fucking expensive, you want to know where that money went. You want every aspect of that to feel brand fucking new.
Check this out. Cross-media sphere.
Whoa.
That's like a sphere grid that you can rotate around.
GameCube did that cube, there's precedent.
Yeah. Oh. What if they just took the GameCube cube?
Sure.
And rounded up those corners
when you turned it on. Yeah. Yes. Go back to blocks. Call of Duty takes how many blocks is on your hard drive? Call of Duty takes up all of them. And if you want
if I
more
could see
blocks,
those,
cost $1 billion.
I just want those random blocks.
I meant to say this when Jeff, you were talking about Call of Duty, but I meant to play some more of it. I opened my PS4 last night and had to uninstall 2 more games so I could fit the 32 gig patch that was waiting for me. And then I heard there was a pretty hefty patch this morning.
Great.
Possibly. So
awesome.
Lovely. I'll play that game in 2 weeks. I'll get back to you guys.
Great. Yeah, get patching. Just plug in an external hard drive and never think about it again.
More like Ben Patch. Am I right?
Ooh. Oh shit,
man.
Fuck.
Oh shit.
Talk about a coffee dad. He's roasting him.
Fuck.
Paper Mario.
Fuck yeah. I'm back. I'm happy again.
The Origami King will come to Nintendo Switch very soon.
Yeah.
Very
July,
soon.
baby.
I want to get excited because I think that trailer looks really goddamn good. But also, Paper Mario has been kind of lost in the woods for the last like 2 or 3.
They made 2 good Paper Mario games.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think this was happening. I would have been happy with like a remaster of those first 2 games or something. Like honestly, I just wanted Paper Mario on Switch in some form, but this looks like it could be good again.
Like it looks pretty fucking cool. Like that leak or the rumor or whatever. Like the existence of this got leaked like what, a month or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And the word then was they're trying to get back to the 1,000-year door kind of style with it.
Right.
Which seems like what people want. So.
That's the hope. That's certainly the hope. I'm excited, man. Those early Paper Mario games were cool as hell, and so if they can pull that off, then that's great. Also, is it weird? And there's been, I feel like, some talk. I believe it was speculation that this might be how Nintendo handles things this year. Instead of directs, that you might just be like, wake up one morning and be like, oh, by the way, we announced Paper Mario.
Right. Also, if the data mining is to be believed of the eShop, it's done. People say that the version 1.0 build was uploaded to the eShop like
they made a whole secret Paper Mario
like a week ago.
Yeah.
And they've got the file size and everything. It's just sitting there waiting to be sold. Like it's done.
They'll patch it 9 more times between now and July. Don't worry, you're not going to see that 1.0 version.
But like, I think you're right, Jeff.
I admire the audacity of making an entire game and being done with it before you even say that it exists.
Yeah,
they pulled up Beyonce.
But I think you're right because they did the same thing with the new Super Nintendo and NES games, right? They just kind of were like, "Hey, those are coming out."
Stuff, yeah. Or here's the latest stuff for that.
Yeah.
By the way,
they're real good at that.
Yeah.
This is the first time since they announced it that I've been excited for the releases because we're gonna finally get to play Panel de Pawn.
Yeah. The Panel de Pawn, which was Tetris Attack here, right?
Which was probably the Super Nintendo game I played more than anything else, and I never even knew that it was based on like a weird Japanese anime girl game.
Yeah, well, I guess they just probably can't use the Tetris name here in the States without kicking money over to the Tetris people and then getting involved in Tetris business. So I imagine that's why we're getting handled upon here.
Which is probably what happened with Puyo and Kirby Avalanche.
Yes, Kirby Avalanche, of course, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Yeah, Rygar? No, what's coming? Yeah, Rygar's coming.
Rygar, hell of a game. Rygar is the
Guns.
game that for their whole like, hey, we're going to do a save state of something. Like Rygar is the perfect game for that. They should do a save state that is like, we crouched here at the beginning of the game and got our stats all the way up to max, and now
you can play the game
and play the game. That would be the right thing to do. Yeah, man. I hope Paper Mario delivers.
Yeah. Increase yourself and be reborn.
The only concern I have, and I saw a few other people sharing it, is they didn't really show much of the combat, and it's listed as like an adventure game, which is a little curious.
Like a super like 15-second clip.
Like a very tiny, but it was like impossible to really parse what was happening.
It's the Japanese version, so if you don't read Japanese, it's pretty tough to tell what's going on there.
But as long as it's similar enough to the old Mario and Luigi / Paper Mario / Mario RPG thing of do an ability, hit a button at the right time, do bonus damage, then I'm fine.
Yeah. More big news. This is a two-pronged announcement here. Get ready. Strap yourselves in. Prong 1, Phantasy Star Online 2 will launch on PC on May 27th.
Okay.
Prong 2. Right. All right, that's the weaker of the... I mean, that's cool. And I'm very excited to not play it on an Xbox and play it on a platform that has a keyboard natively all the time. Part 2, the subhead in their press release, but really should have been the lead. Hatsune Miku comes to PSO2 today on Xbox One.
Whoa.
The character from Sidus?
Yes.
Yep, that one.
Along with Megarine Luca and Kagine Rin and Len.
Yo, the twins?
And Len?
Yeah.
Tight.
Also making appearances in some kind of stylish clothing and accessories that you can pay real money for if you want to look more like Hatsune Miku. And who the fuck doesn't? Am I right?
Yeah.
Why I'm growing my hair out.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna color my hair blue.
Yeah, I have not been playing as much PSO2 as I maybe would have because I have to move a keyboard over to play it on an Xbox and all this other stuff. It's just, I will certainly play more of that game when it comes to PC.
Is that the same characters across versions? Or same?
I hope so, because I'm not going to start over. I believe it's the case that will be cross-play and all that stuff, because it is a Windows Store game. So,
speaking of cross-play, I think I forgot to throw this in the news, but did Epic launch some whole Unreal like cross-play service?
Yes, I think it was alongside the UE5 announcement. There was a whole like cross-play thing that I guess any devs can use to like basically they've built a layer that handles all the navigation and cross-play and stuff for you, all the account navigation and all that other shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
That developers can integrate into their games. That's cool.
Yeah. I wonder if that's something you can license and use even if you're not building the actual game on Unreal.
I believe that's the case, that they're not necessarily limiting you to that. Because I think you can use an Epic account as part of that too. So it might be that you're getting more people to sign up for Epic accounts that way, and maybe that's where they get their hooks in or something. But yeah. Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, PlayStation 4 game.
Feels like just last week we were like, man, what's that game look like?
Yeah. It's coming out July 17th, and they went ahead and showed a pretty good chunk of gameplay of that thing. It looks real nice.
Yes, stylistically, they seem to be nailing it.
Yeah.
That look.
How do you feel about what they have shown of it as a video game? Now, because I feel like the style and the art and the visuals of it have been what we've seen so far mostly. In the previous stuff, and you look at it and go like, that's a damn good looking game.
Yeah.
But in terms of what the game is, it feels like people are maybe dialing that in more and more and getting between like, it's a Souls game or it's an Assassin's Creed game, and that
it
sort
really
of
gives off modern Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
vibes to me.
Like the Origins Odyssey
Yeah.
style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Which-
Assassin's Creed with a sprinkle of Bushido Blade, let's say.
that.
I actually went back and tried to play a little bit of Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey this last weekend, and I stopped because the combat. I don't know if it was playing Final Fantasy VII, which combat I adore a lot, but it just wasn't doing it for me. It just was like I liked Origins, but it's all mush now. So I'm hoping it's a little tighter than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it looks solid. Like I don't remember anything in there that seemed like wildly innovative. It just seemed like a pretty well made looking open world game by modern standards.
I like the stuff that I liked was like the kind of how they I think they know they have a really beautiful looking game, a really beautiful looking world, and how to incorporate that back into the gameplay, where it'd be like, okay, you're tracking something, look for trees that have been bent, and look for animals that like might be agitated.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like you really have to kind of pay attention to the world.
That felt like a little bit of a nod to like the Breath of the Wild, or maybe like Red Dead Redemption 2, or something, like games that don't just like flash objective indicators to lead you around. It's more like, oh, why did that flock of birds just fly up out of nowhere? Like there must be something going on over there. Like they seem to be emphasizing that kind of reading the environment, which was cool.
Yeah. That I don't know. Like I thought all that stuff looked cool. Like you're right. It wasn't like, hey, we've invented a brand new video game here. But you look at it and go like, hey, like especially this late in the console cycle and stuff like that, like a hyper polished take on this generation's open world formula. I could look at it and go like, all right, yeah. I could get that.
Especially in that setting, which is not something you see at that scale. Like I saw some people describing it as like open world Tenchu, which sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what Sekiro. I mean, Sekiro kind of got that label here and there as well.
You didn't get a horse though. That was not a horse game.
Not a horse game. Ben, you love to get up in that ass Sekiro style.
I do.
How do you feel about it as it compares to Sekiro?
It looks like a little less. Well, I mean, it's hard. Like it's hard to know until I actually get my hands on it, because like if you watch somebody who's good at Sekiro or Souls play a game, you're like, oh, that doesn't look too hard. You just hit the guy and move around a little bit.
Yeah, as an expert now too on Souls games.
Right. I think it looks good. I actually probably would tend to maybe want to play it more in that style they show, where you are just kind of an assassin. You're sneaking around. You're like causing chaos in the camps. You're like making distractions and freaking the people out. And I think there was a line in there like, the mongrels will grow to fear you. Use that to your advantage. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm a little more interested in.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I definitely think I'm going to be playing it on Alex Navarro's black and white mode.
Sure. I might use the Japanese language track, which I'm not usually that into. I've never been a like you have to play Metro in Russian or whatever, but I might actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
Might actually go that route. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm normally. I guess it doesn't like I turn subtitles on in every video game at this point anyway, so maybe it doesn't even matter. Looks cool. Yeah, we'll see it soon. I mean, July is, hey, it might as well be July right now.
Maybe it already is. How would we know?
I don't even know. Mafia.
Mafia?
What about the Mafia?
Mafia.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I reviewed
Ben.
one of those.
We're here to probably reveal that Ben has done a lot of voice work in the new Mafia trilogy, including voices such as.
I'm the mob. I'm the mob. See,
right.
I'm the mob.
That's it. Yep.
There's
I'm
also
the
a guy
mob.
who's like, "Brr, I'm the mob. Brr, I'm the muscle man."
Mhm.
He's the guy who stands behind really strong.
Yeah, he's the muscle man, of course. The Mafia Trilogy is something that they teased and then announced, and now is 2/3 of the way out as of, I guess, today. Let's see
right,
here.
because one of them has been out for quite some time.
Yeah, so I guess like I wasn't really. They kind of didn't. So they put out a press release today saying, kind of formally announcing the trilogy. And it's the sort of thing that if you buy it now, you can get two parts of it, because the Mafia 1 is an old ass game. That's a game they are going to remake from the ground up, and that will be out August 28th. But So they've got like bullet points in here for each game. Then they just wrote the words definitive edition on the end of all of them. Mafia Definitive Edition is the built from the ground up remake of the beloved classic. Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is the Ultra HD remaster of the fan favorite. And Mafia 3 Definitive Edition is the reintroduction of the award-winning narrative masterpiece.
They should not have. I mean, it's probably obvious. They should not have called that the Definitive Edition.
I don't, yeah, because they don't even necessarily get into what they added to make it definitive. I don't know if they even added anything to it or made any real changes, or if they just wrote definitive edition on the end of it and said like, yeah, we've definitively decided to not add it. Oh, okay. Mafia 2 and 3 feature all original bonus add-on content plus completely remastered 4K compatible visuals for Mafia 2. Oh, okay. That didn't even. Okay, so all original bonus add-on content seems to be what they have made definitive for 3. Because 3 is not that old in the grand scheme of things.
Kind of like more like a Game of the Year edition or something.
Maybe something like that. I would not call Mafia 3 Game of the Year. There's certainly some cool aspects of it.
I never. Did you guys ever play Mafia 1? Like I've never played it, but that's of those games. Like that seems like the one that people revere, like legitimately.
It's an early enough game that like I feel like the novel thing about Mafia 1 was you had to obey traffic laws, which was like
fun.
Right? I mean, was it that or Kingpin?
I think that's
was
right.
that Getaway?
I don't think Kingpin didn't have driving, did it? It just had cussing.
Right. Kingpin, yeah, you're right. Yes, in lieu of cars, they just had curses. So, yeah, it was like slow cars and traffic laws, which was like for an open world game in the GTA era as that was coming out, like that was its innovative hook or whatever. I was not into it. It did not do much for me back then. You could ignore a lot of those traffic laws. It was more just like, the cops might, if the cops see you do it, they'll come mess with you.
The shots they put out of the Mafia 1 remake look pretty good.
Yeah,
like it's pretty good.
Certainly, like there's aspects of that game that if you were rebuilding it from the ground up would probably be interesting today. One of the shifty ass discords that I'm on has posted some video and some other stuff. Apparently that Mafia 2 remaster is fucked. Like audio is like the dialogue plays in one ear and the other sounds are in the other. Like frame rate on PS4 drops below 20. Facial expressions all over the place. Like it just sounds like it's kind of a mess right now.
That's really disappointing. I've never played a Mafia, and I felt like this was maybe a good. I know a lot of people talking about Mafia 2. A lot of people. There's even a lot of defenders of Mafia 3 out there. Like I was like, oh man, this is the time to dive in. But yikes.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like that they have given Mafia 2 the treatment that it deserves. Because people did like Mafia 2.
Yeah,
but
it's all right.
That sounds pretty fucked up. And we'll see. I mean, I imagine that they've got some patchwork to do there. Evo 2020.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the lineup last week? Was the lineup out there last week?
Lineup's been out for a little while.
Okay.
Lineup was out when we were still in office.
Oh, did the
well,
dropping?
No. I mean the new lineup.
No,
the
new lineup is
the dropping. Okay. Well, I'll let you get to it.
Yeah. So this is the.
Oh boy! Everyone, get ready for the jokes.
What you got?
Here we go.
You've been workshopping.
Hit them with it. You know what's coming.
So Evo, they've gone ahead and said that because it sounds like maybe they had content lined up or obviously some of these games that were going to be part of the Evo lineup, they were going to have announcements of new things for probably too, right? Yeah. So they're still doing what they call special exhibitions and content for the original lineup, which, in case you forgot, according to Polygon here, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Samurai Showdown, Soul Calibur 6, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, and Under Night in Birth. EXE late.
Thank you.
So there will be some type of content around those games. They didn't really get too specific about what it is, but as far as the tournament aspect of it, they're moving online, which we obviously that's of course they are. And it sounds like the open tournaments will be in the following games: Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, Skullgirls Second Encore, and Them's Fightin' Herds. Which that's the Skullgirls engine underneath that, isn't it? Isn't it like the...
Yes.
I think Jason streamed this out.
Yeah.
It's the game that originally started as a My Little Pony fan game.
Yeah. And evolved. Like it looks cool. Like I'm not knocking it.
I see since this announcement, a lot of the fighting players I follow on Twitter are like getting into it and really like it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's special exhibitions and content stuff. That's not the full list of games. Obviously, like there was a Smash Brothers in there somewhere that is apparently going to be completely unrepresented.
That's the big one, is no Smash at all. Which comes back, like they didn't come out and say why. It could be a Nintendo thing, like they're prickly about that stuff.
Well, if the special exhibitions and content, I imagine that they would do some kind of content drop or produce some kind of package for the games that will have new content announcements or some kind of meaningful thing there. Whereas if Nintendo wasn't planning on announcing anything new,
they don't
at Evo.
They don't
support it that way. So at that point, like if they're not contributing at all, then why would you show the game at all at that point?
Well, I guess the reason for that would be it's always the most entered thing. Like last year, it had twice as much as the second most entered game, which was Street Fighter.
But like I imagine they're only doing this special exhibition and content because they had deals lined up to show new stuff for these games.
Yeah.
And so if they didn't have that deal in place, why? There's really no reason to be like, oh, here's some people playing at home.
Huge numbers for Twitch, like it always has the highest Twitch.
Yeah, if it's not new stuff, if it's just like here's people not playing in a tournament, doing some kind of exhibition thing where no one can be in the same location.
That's the thing. Like we don't know what these special exhibition stuff thing is. It could be an invitational top 8. Like they definitely could. All I'm saying is like Smash stuff would probably draw in people, if not for the real reason probably of why they pulled it, which is the Smash netcode is duty from above.
Well, I mean, but like none of these games that were previously announced are on the list for games that are actually going to have open tournaments now. Like that's not like all of these games have that problem. It's not a Smash unique situation.
But the difference is like there's still presumably events for Tekken and Dragon Ball and stuff, and those games the netcode isn't great, right? So the four games, KI, Mortal Kombat, Skullgirls, and Them's Fightin' Herds typically are agreed upon to have like incredible netcode, right? Like, just their netcode first, right? They're indie games. They know people. They going into the design of those, except Mortal Kombat, but going into the design of the other
games. An indie game either. I mean,
okay. The other two, like people, I saw a lot of people who were like, "Why is Skullgirls on here?" Right? Who cares about Skullgirls? Why is Them Fightin' Herds on here? It's because those games were developed with them. They knew the community was going to be smaller, so they knew they had to make the netcode good because there weren't going to be as many opportunities for local tournaments and stuff like that.
Totally. And so I think like holding tournaments, if they have to go online, then they need to bias in favor of games that have good online, or like a situation where they can make sure that they can verify results, right? Like I don't know that they've necessarily said how they're going to handle, because do all of those games have good spectator modes, right? Like that's always the thing is like how will they actually handle that stuff? And that'll be how they will handle it is they're going to hold these tournaments over 5 weekends.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the part that really surprised me. I guess it gives them a lot of leeway. I can imagine a lot of problems of like running a pool in person is a nightmare. Like you would think like at a tournament, everyone's always there and ready to play. No, like I've run pools for some smaller tournaments before. You're standing up on a chair screaming, "Has anyone seen Dainty Boy 44? He needs to be here in 3 minutes."
I'm here.
Are you
45 or 44?
He's coming.
44.
He's in the shitter.
So imagine that online is going to be like 10 times worse.
God.
But I feel like once you're taking it online, I feel like there's an aspect to it of just like, all right, this is going to there with or without you.
Yeah,
like,
and they totally
you're not
do
paying
that.
attention. Fuck off. Like it's And there will be apparently like they had previously said that they were going to do some kind of invitational thing for Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah,
and apparently they are still going to do some kind of thing.
What version are they going to play?
Which one had on what?
There was an Xbox 360 release.
Is it
Yeah.
the one Iron Galaxy did? No, am I?
I think the Dreamcast one is kind of considered to be the closest to arcade perfect, I think, of the console releases, unless I'm misremembering. But that didn't have
It didn't have online.
online.
Right.
So it's probably people in chat are saying PS3 version / XBLA.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how the net code is in that. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, like we were talking about when they announced they were doing online in the first place. Obviously, this whole thing is going to be a weird thing, a very different thing. And I think going into it knowing it's going to be a different thing, I think that's fine. I think it's interesting and like sort of funny that MK11 went from not being at all part of Evo to suddenly being one of the 4 games being
Probably
run.
the most entered game. It's going to be the most entered game at Evo.
Yeah, I mean that thing's out
Next.
That's out next week, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You think RoboCop is God tier?
I hope so.
There is. They put out that gameplay trailer. There is some dick shooting in there.
Yeah, saw that.
But also the Cobra gun is in there. Everyone was right.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins. Everyone gets what they want out of RoboCop.
RoboCop is like a Rorschach test. You know, you see it and what you get out of it.
I don't know. I didn't see any 6000 SUX in there, so there's still some work to do.
I didn't see they did show a bunch of different customizable RoboCop helmets, and none of them were a backwards baseball hat.
Oh, there's different helmets. What the fuck? I think I saw there's like the full on the Alex Murphy faceplate off version in there, right?
Yeah, I assume so.
I gotta lie. I didn't.
A bunch of different because every MK character has 3 customizable.
Right, like
there's a skin, and then there's like 3 customizable points. For Scorpion, it's like the tip of his spear.
Yeah, the sword.
And the sword, and then the mask.
Yeah,
what
is it on RoboCop? Like it's a gun?
It's the guns. It's the Cobra gun. It's the pistol, and it's the helmet. I think is what the.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah. But they showed a bunch of different stuff with that. And it's still a guest character, and I still, even as someone who likes RoboCop, it cheapens. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are cooler than RoboCop.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're cool undead ninja.
Yeah.
Spear hands.
Is this?
I don't think they would beat him in a fight. I think I'd take RoboCop in a minute, but
RoboCop's not part of that original pack of, was it 6 characters? Right?
No, that the first combat pack is done. These 3 characters are part of the Aftermath thing.
Okay.
And that's all they have announced, right? Is this Aftermath stuff, like the story DLC and these 3 more characters. So I don't know if they will then go on to do another 6 or what the deal is. I feel like, they would normally be good for like 2 seasons worth of characters, but I wonder if this will just count as like their second drop, since it has this big story chunk or whatever. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm like logistically very interested in Evo to see how they handle this stuff. It seems like they're making the right calls in terms of like games with netcode that they can rely on.
A lot of smaller tournaments, weeklies and stuff have already made the move to online. So hopefully the Evo organizers are working with those people to kind of learn like what's working, what's not working.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And it'd be fun, like theoretically, yeah, like we were talking about last week, the idea of a bunch of new blood that you don't see because they can't make the trip physically or whatever, like seeing new players get into these top 8s and stuff like that would be interesting. Though I guess it's like these are games that don't even normally get run, so I guess it will all be kind of new. Because Street Fighter's not part of it. I think when we talk about some of those top 8s and stuff like that, it's really like, oh, it'd be cool to see new stuff there, but no Street Fighter. Anthem.
I almost bought this the other day.
Oh, how much was it?
Hovering over it. It was $11.99 on like the
Too
PlayStation
much.
Store.
Too much.
Yeah, and it's going to be so long from the sound of this thing that like you might as well just wait, like because you're not exactly going to get $12 of value out of that thing in the meantime. I don't think.
How long does it take to fly around? Because that's all I want to do.
Like how long until you get to that point? Probably
Yeah.
20 minutes or something, even less.
Yeah.
Too much.
Okay, too much.
That game was being sold for like $5 or $4 or stuff. But those were all physical copies, as they had to like blow them out to get them off their shelves.
Yeah.
Where they were just collecting dust. Studio director Christian Daly out of BioWare Austin posted an update to the BioWare blog last Friday, and basically just kind of gave a brief introduction about how they intend to move forward with Anthem, which they are moving forward with Anthem.
I think that's the first time Austin has spoken publicly, right? About,
I believe so.
Since they took it over from Edmonton.
Yeah. So basically he's saying like, hey, prior to the role of studio director, I was the franchise development director for the Anthem live service. So basically the live team for Anthem is taking a crack at rebuilding Anthem. They don't really get too far into specifics here other than to say that they are a small team of around 30 people. A lot of this is kind of just confirming stuff that they talked about some months ago, but also the stories that went around Kotaku and other places about the future of Anthem and the idea that they're going to like really kind of take aspects of it apart and try to build something better.
The only real like newsy aspect of this to me was that 30-person figure was kind of like more of a strike team skunkworks kind of thing than like a full-on.
Right.
I can tell you from having glanced at the Anthem subreddit that 30 people is well on its way to becoming something of a meme in the long-suffering Anthem community.
Oh no!
Why is there an Anthem community? I think that's the thing. Is like at this point, if you're like following an Anthem subreddit on a regular basis, you're doing it to yourself.
Well, I feel like at this point, I would agree with you. Maybe like 3 months ago. Now that they're actually talking about what they want to do with Anthem, that's when the surviving Reddit community is actually going to get just something to feast on.
This sounds mean, but I have to say it. I was looking for that subreddit just to see what people were saying, and it used to be our Anthem, and the first thing I saw was our Anthem is now our Anthem the game. Which implies...
I think that happened a long time ago.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. Yeah, it just immediately gave me the impression that maybe they needed our Anthem for something more important.
Something way more important, like some Fox online streaming only TV show called Anthem.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like they give the "we're listening" chunk of this, but also like I feel like the bulk of it is like they are a small team that can work quickly and try a bunch of different shit. So it sounds like this doesn't sound like an announcement of, hey, we know exactly what we're doing with Anthem and we'll tell you more about it soon. This sounds almost like the start of the process in a way where they're just like, yeah, we're like 30 people knocking this game apart and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And we'll share some stuff with you later. And also kind of gives the caveat of like, there's going to be some stuff that we're going to show you that's not going to make it in the final product that you're going to think looks cool, but didn't work for whatever reason. And there's going to be some stuff that you think sucks that we're going to keep in the game, basically. There was, basically that they're experimenting. And I think that's interesting. It has this vibe of just like EA or the BioWare brand feeling like they can't let this one go, that it maybe just does too much damage. So they're just like, we have to find a way to try to fix it, or at least like spend enough time, like the Battlefront 2 treatment of just like this thing. It'd be very easy to walk away from this game, but the damage it would do to us to just leave these people hanging is not worth it. So we at least need to try to pull it together.
And I think we're seeing more examples of that sort of success story with those kinds of games. I mean, Battlefront 2 is a good example. That game has a community around it that really enjoys where they got it to. You look at something
except there's a huge chunk of people that are pissed because they announced that they were ending support for Battlefront 2, which like I'm with you where I look at it and go like, man, they really got it to a good place for a game that was like hyper ultra boring at launch from just like a lack of content and stuff. Like now you got petitions from people going like, no, why don't you work on more paid content? And it's just like,
I mean, you're not going to be, but like the game itself is unobjectively like a success story to where it was before.
Sure. Absolutely. They turned it around. You are absolutely right. They turned it the fuck around.
Yeah. Like you see that blog post from the BioWare Austin guy, I think he uses the term incubator or incubation for like ideas and stuff like that. But like, it reminds me of when they announced Anthem 2.0 in the first place, and I feel like we were speculating of like, do you think this hits on the new consoles as well as the old ones? But then like from how early this sounds, it seems like it by necessity has to be on the new consoles, right? Because this is easily like year, 2 years away from being done from the talk.
How does that work though?
Like,
well, that could be, like a lot of those games, your purchases carry over and stuff like
That's
that.
true.
They could
That's
say
true.
if you bought Anthem, you get the other version. But knowing EA, it sounds like they're handling Madden in a windowed fashion for if you want to do that smart delivery upgrade for free. You could see a situation where it's like, if you bought Anthem before this date, we're going to roll you up for free. But if not, you don't.
Oh man,
that
Jan, you better act
I
fast.
missed my window.
that's right. You got to get in, man. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what they do. Like there are aspects of Anthem that you look at and go like, if they had done this right, this would be a game on par with Destiny, meaning people would be angry about it for totally different reasons.
the kind of angry that you want to have in your community, not the kind that you don't.
Right. Yes. And we'll see if they get there. Hopefully they do better than Doom Eternal. Where people took a game that was, maybe like slightly divisive, but generally really well liked.
Yeah.
And they have just flushed a ton of goodwill down the toilet by adding in an anti-cheat patch, or they added in de novo. Normally de novo launches alongside a game and then is rolled out later on.
So this is new. This de novo anti-cheat is like a brand new product from them. It's different from the anti-tamper or whatever.
Not standard ass de novo.
Yeah.
This is new de novo, which is an anti-cheat for presumably the game's multiplayer mode, which is
That's
like
got to be the weirdest aspect of this whole thing to me. Like,
yeah,
that multiplayer is fine, but it's like an asymmetric 2-on-1, like demons versus Doom guy. Like, it's a neat mode. Like, it's kind of cool, but like,
it's cool like twice.
Yeah, and on top of that, like the idea that you need to safeguard like the sanctity of the balance in your multiplayer for this like side mode that's kind of like a neat novelty, but it's not like some ultra competitive esport or something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so they have added in basically something pretty similar to what Riot has been getting shit for Valorant.
Yeah.
They've added in a like boot time kernel driver as part of this anti-cheat stuff, and you just look at it and go like, really? For the fucking Doom multiplayer mode that's like whatever? Like it's fine. You're like, yeah, you're right. It's cool. It's different. Like it's not like classic Doom multiplayer, but whatever. They tried that and that wasn't that much fun last time around. So like, but yeah, you're right. The idea that they need to protect this to this extent seems ridiculous. And people are pissed. Like they're doing the review bombing thing. They're doing all that stuff.
The big one,
6,000 negative reviews in the last 3.5 days.
The big one to me is that it, like, at least with Valorant, it happened up front. Like as soon as the beta launched, that was there. It's like, yes, it took time for word to trickle out about what it was. They didn't say they didn't put a big flashing sign on it, but at least like from the get-go, you kind of knew what you were getting into.
Right.
Like I've seen people super pissed about this specifically because now they're way outside the return window on Steam or whatever, and it's like
I have seen some discussion that they are honoring refunds outside the window.
Okay,
I don't know.
That helps then, because like my understanding from what I read is if you have the game installed previously, like the first time you boot it up, it would install that thing as part of starting the game up again, and like that's just 2 months after launch. Like that's a shitty way to.
It's a really suck ass
like
thing to just like roll into a patch.
Yeah.
And especially for like, again, like that multiplayer mode is not worth it.
Yeah.
And are they also protecting like, do they have did they do microtransactions for stuff?
You can buy a currency to unlock some of the cosmetics that you can also grind for, but that's about it.
Are they preventing people from cheating that stuff out or something? Like it's just like the idea of cosmetics in a game that is best as a single player is just it's a bizarre turn for that game. It's fucking wild. Like I'm hey, put some anti-cheat in it, I guess, but like the idea of going this hard on it,
I guess,
and stuff like fuck, why? It's Doom. It's not not worth it. And I wonder how big the backlash is, that if there are people internally looking at it going, this was not worth it. But we'll see. I don't know. I wonder if they make any moves on this to make a change, or if they're just going to dig in and make very non-change changes the way that Valorant has.
Right. I did see some people saying that previous to this, it was the best reviewed, like user reviewed game on Steam this year.
Jeez.
So,
well,
pretty big turn there.
That would be something that they would certainly put in some kind of marketing bullet point that they can't. So that's at least some collateral damage. I mean, like review bombing, I think is like dumb, and that's a
I mean, that's whatever.
That's something that Steam needs to be better at addressing. Like, or there needs to be a better way to say I am angry about this thing that isn't necessarily a review of the game content, but this other policy change they made that fucking whatever. I mean, so I uninstalled Doom Eternal.
So did I. As soon as I saw this, I was like, nope.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not even going to run this to let it set up in the first place. Yep. I'm just going to uninstall it. And there you go. The thing I did reinstall, though, we talked about earlier, Terraria.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Yeah. I won't get into this too much. It was on the news list, but we talked about most of it already. It's just it is a long ass list of patches. They're calling it the Journey's End update, and yeah, man, 9 years.
Wow.
That's crazy. That game does not seem that old, but I guess it is. Like, yeah, the more I think about it, like, damn, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, Terraria is a old fucking game.
Weren't they? Did they start out selling it like through their own website or something like that? Like it was not even on.
Right.
Like I think did it only come to like major storefronts later?
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I think I own Terraria, but I don't own it on Steam. I think.
Okay. I think you can generate a Steam key through whatever. I want to say they made everybody whole on that at some point by rolling it in, but we should play some Terraria. All right.
I've never played it before. I'll get that shit going.
If you like Minecraft, you like side-scrolling
yo-yos.
Yeah, just the different weapon types and all the other stuff, and just going into the dungeons and all. Oh, there's so much cool ass shit. You get a magic mirror that lets you teleport back to your home base whenever you want.
I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying that, like, if you get the NPCs in the different villages to like you enough, that you can fast travel.
Oh, yeah. Well, the mirror, I mean, basically lets you fast travel back.
It's a one way, but
yeah, it's one way. But all right, that's
right. Doors open automatically.
You don't need pressure plates.
Oh man, those pressure plates.
All right,
some good stuff.
Video games are good again. It's official.
Finally.
Let's take another break, and we'll come back with emails and wrap it up for y'all after this. And we're back, and it's time for B-mails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the B-mail address. Use your B-mail client to send those B-mails to us, and Ben Pack will receive them.
Now that's a mime type.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this is a mime type.
First question, hey guys, does a straw have one hole or two? Cheers, Lindsay from Champaign, Illinois.
Oh God, I wasn't ready for that one.
It's one hole. It goes all the way through it.
Yeah, it's end to end, right? It's got an entrance and an exit. It's a single hole, right? It's a contiguous hole.
It's a single hole.
I think I'm with Jan on this one. I think the two holes make sense from a distinction point of view, right? You can kind of be like, it's the top hole and the bottom hole.
But what if you turn it upside down?
Okay, but does a hole have to have in like a definitive end to qualify as a hole?
No, I guess not.
I guess
like, yeah, if you have a dirt patch and you take your shovel and you dig a hole.
That's true.
Yeah. Hang on. I mean, so if I take this, can I do? No, sorry. This
cup has one hole.
Let me find some. Okay, is this something I can? So if I take this piece of paper here, hang on.
I Googled this because I figured this was like an ongoing debate that other people have had. And there's a third camp that believes that it has no holes because it is
I think I'm in No, yeah. I think I'm in the no hole camp.
Just a
You went
cylinder.
from 2 to 0, Jan. You
No,
can't
because
do
I
that.
started thinking about that, like a hole needs to have an end, right? And then there's no end. It's just two holes meeting each other. So they cancel each other out.
But what if I take a piece of paper here that has no holes in it, and then I poke a hole in it? That's just one hole, right? But this could be a straw shape. This could just as easily be that, and you could poke a hole through. What if a straw was a solid rod and you poked a hole through it straight through? That would be exactly like what I just did to this piece of paper.
Okay, imagine though the solid rod and you poke a hole.
I'm always imagining the solid rod, Ben.
Halfway through, right? Poke it, go halfway through, but not out the other side. That's one hole. If you keep going, that's a second hole.
Still a hole. It's a hole that happened to come out the other end. A hole could be it could stop halfway through.
What are you calling it a hole? I know we're getting heated here, but
look here, a hole. When you're playing Minecraft, if you dig, eventually you might hit something, but you still just dug a hole.
But what if that meets another hole? Then that's two holes.
That's just one hole that goes into another hole. Like that goes into
how
another.
many holes does a wheel of Swiss cheese have? If they all met, like imagine they all met in the middle.
Those could be different holes drilled, bored that ended up connecting through serendipity. But we're not necessarily. I think if you had if you build a straw that is a Y-shaped straw because you're doing drugs out of both nostrils at the same time, like if you're just using gold toast like some kind of 70s fucking kingpin, or you're sharing a milkshake with somebody, I don't know, like that is a straw that's got more than one hole.
My position is that all holes are openings, but not all openings are holes.
Ooh, okay, go on. So
that's all I've got. It's tautological. That's it.
Okay, so if I take this piece of paper, right, and then I roll it, I'm rolling this, and this is now like similar to a straw. I did not make a hole, right? So
You found a hole.
Oh shit!
That hole's always been there. You gave
it form.
Yeah. You made that hole exist in a physical space instead of just a mind hole.
What if you
I'm falling down?
Check it out. What if you poke another hole in that paper? And then you curve the paper around so both of the holes meet? Now you've made a wormhole.
Get this away from me.
Inconclusive.
You curve the thing around so that it goes in the hole. You can make money on the internet doing that. But also,
this is how the Stranger Things kids solve that mystery, right? They just poked a hole.
I think
through
so.
Paper.
Did you guys ever see Pineapple Express? I think that's the same thing that Brad was talking about.
I think that would be two holes.
But then if this paper, right, if I were to curve it and it creates another hole, right, that just makes another one hole.
What?
Well, you connected the pieces in such that it's not a hole anymore. It's hollow.
Well, I don't think we could call donut holes anymore because there's no holes.
There's no
donut hole.
No, there never was. The donut hole is maybe the most fucking maddeningly named thing.
Yeah. The hole is in the original donut. The hole remained.
Right. So we should just call donut holes.
Call it a hole punch.
Donut punch.
Ooh.
The baby.
Does it if it's a bendy straw, does that change anything?
Ben's got the frazzled hair look of a scientist who has been working all night on this problem.
Game over. My brain's never going to be the same again.
I don't think a bendy straw changes anything.
But at that point, now you have a very clear top and bottom, right?
Okay. What if you have a juice box straw, right, that has the pointed end? Does that change anything around? Because now that's two different shapes.
It's two different shapes, but it's not. I mean, it's still. That just means that you've carved it weird. Like I could carve this hole. It could be a star-shaped hole, but it's still a hole.
I don't like it.
Yeah, forget these like is a hot dog a taco question. This is the real deal here.
See, this hole is a weird shape, but it's still a hole.
Somebody please clip that. Thank you. Moving on. Next email. We can't think about holes
starting
anymore.
to make me wish I had the power of next email.
Where did they go? It's hiding. Here it is. A couple of people wrote in on this topic. We were wondering last week. Hey, I'll just read it. Hello, Bombcast. Last week, Jeff asked why Superman became the de facto Tony Hawk Pro Skater song. I think I might have an answer. When I was a kid, I never actually owned Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, but did own a demo disc with THPS 1 on it. The demo's only playable stage was Warehouse, and the only song was Superman. My friends and I played the hell out of this demo, so Warehouse and Superman have always been the canonical Tony Hawk stage and song, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people also had a similar experience growing up.
I think I did too.
This is from Seb Mel, who also says, and Jeff, you can't get mad at me. Do not shoot the messenger who says Mr. Do
Fuck
sucks.
that guy. Fuck that guy. Mr. Do does not suck. He has a ball that he shoots at enemies. He's a clown, but a fun clown. Not a wicked clown.
Yeah, that's probably it, right? I imagine people playing that demo over and over and over again, hearing that song over and over and over again.
It's also
That had to have done it.
It's also just a damn catchy song, though.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Is there a better song in the actual game?
I don't think so.
I couldn't name another song from that game, but I would say no.
Okay, hold on. What about a tunnel? Does a tunnel have one hole or two holes?
It's like we were talking about with the Minecraft example. You're digging one hole, and if it comes out the other end,
it has to be two because one's for going one way and one's for coming the other. They're clearly distinct holes. They're distinct entrances and exits. They have to be two.
Okay, here you go. How many holes are there in the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater disc? It is an object with no depth.
Oh, that has one hole, and now my mind is fucked up.
I feel like Tony Hawk 1 has plenty of depth. It's, you could unlock characters. There's a progression there to it. I think that's there's one hole in the middle of a CD. Just the one. Are the pits burned into the bottom of a CD holes?
I guess because they're yes.
All pits are holes, but not all holes are.
This next email comes in from David, who says, what is the #1 food item that has a filling? To qualify, the container food must fully enclose the filling. Things that don't qualify include sandwiches, Oreos, sushi rolls. And he lists some things that do qualify, but I'm going to save those because they might come up in natural conversation. I'm going to start out and say donut is my #1.
Is it a donut if it's got filling?
Yeah.
But then it doesn't
you
have a hole.
You go to the donut store and you say, get me one of those filled donuts.
But then it doesn't have a hole in it.
What about a French twist is a donut? A donut hole is a donut? How many holes?
Like a maple bar is a donut. Right? Jelly donuts are donuts. It says donut right in them.
Yeah.
Does anybody actually like jelly donuts? I'm not a...
I just said it's my #1 filled food.
I'm not the fan. Well, but it could be like a cream or a...
I like a custard.
Custard. I like berry. I like lemon.
I like lemon. I'm in for a lemon. Not the lemon. No, yes, the lemon. That's what I'm saying. But they closed the Winchell's here decades ago, so.
Like when you first asked this, all I thought of was like jelly donut and Twinkie and like kind of pastry-ish stuff, which I'm
Hot Pockets.
But yeah, once you get around to like a calzone, probably counts. Then like
I feel like you just did the Microsoft Connect ad bypass pose while shouting out a brand right there.
Jen, do you have secret sponsorship deals that
are you living in the future? Did you just skip a Hot Pockets ad somewhere? Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets are good.
This person says burritos in
pizza rolls
qualify, but I don't think
a burrito quite fits here.
Ooh, pupusas.
Mozzarella sticks. They contain cheese.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
Macaroni and cheese balls.
Hey, here's
Like
a
fried macaroni and cheese, breaded.
here's a
Pretty
question. As soon as this cacophony. Okay, have you guys ever taken a string like packaged mozzarella string cheese and breaded it and fried it?
No.
we talked about this.
Got into this last week.
What's the verdict?
Somehow ended up.
What's the verdict?
I don't think anyone.
We hadn't.
Does it work?
It must.
Because we've got a shitload of those things, and I have a sudden craving for mozzarella sticks.
Someone had messaged me and said the bar that they worked at did exactly that for their mozzarella sticks.
Okay.
Somebody in chat said freeze it first, and it works better.
Huh. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because you want to flash fry. You don't want the cheese to just burst out of the side, or you end up with a hollow breading, which is like fun on its own, but like.
I wonder what kind of breading you would need for. Okay, well, I'll figure this out on my own time.
Also, soup dumplings, very good.
Soup dumplings are great.
Very
Yeah.
good.
What about
Gushers?
soup hot pockets?
Gushers. We talked about Gushers last week. Was that an after show thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm moving to the. Unless anyone else.
Do eggs count?
What?
Only if you're just eating the shell and all. Just to bite. Cadbury cream eggs count. Then real eggs have to count. How many holes do you have to put in an egg?
Oh, okay. Next podcast question. This comes in from Frank in Ontario, who says, "Hey, duders, I watched the stream of Ben playing Death Stranding, and I got to wondering, who is the best deliverer in video games?"
The Paperboy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's pretty
that's a
good.
one.
Yeah.
Master Chief gave them back their bomb.
He delivered that bomb. I mean, you might not want to be on the opposite end of that delivery, but he got it there.
Leon in Resident Evil 4.
Would it,
Yeah,
He delivers the president's daughter.
That's
So
quite.
I thought you were saying he delivers bullets into the heads of not zombies.
Shagbark. No,
Mm,
not even the Dota guy.
I had the steward said courier.
Yeah, but there's so many couriers. I got to think of the fan favorite courier.
Yeah. I think Jan got it with the Paperboy. Like that's his job. He just nailed those.
if you were an asshole playing Paperboy, you can break a lot of windows in that game and get a lot of points for doing so. You can be a bad Paperboy.
You're still delivering the paper.
That's true. They are getting. I mean, they're getting it inside their home in a lot of cases, which is way better than it being out front. You're doing them a favor. Oftentimes to people that don't even pay to subscribe to the newspaper. So, yeah, I can't find any fault with that.
Okay, I have to read this next one. This doesn't contain a question. We don't typically read a lot of these, but it chilled me to my core.
I love to chill.
This is from Ben in Vancouver. I was going through the classic mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when I happened to notice something very interesting while seeing the credits. The name Benoit Dupac whizzed by the screen, almost too fast for my brain to process. I thought that maybe I was seeing things. Not only did I discover that somewhere in France there lives a Francois version of Ben, but he also worked on Smash Brothers. However, after a little bit of research, the story takes a dark twist. Benoit Dupac happens to voice none other than Shadow the Hedgehog in both Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. This discovery has left me thoroughly shocked, and I hope this revelation isn't too disturbing for Ben.
Is there something you're not telling us?
I think that I need to parlay this and become America's Shadow the Hedgehog.
You've always been America's Shadow the Hedgehog to me.
To your Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fuck you. What? God damn it, man. So he's the French voice of Sonic or of Shadow, not
yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Do you guys think I have what it takes to be the new Shadow, the own voice of American Shadow?
I mean, try it on here. Like, give me some attitude. Give me some edge. I'm gonna fuck this place up because I hate everything. That's what Shadow says, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck this place up because I hate everything.
Okay, I looked up Shadow the Hedgehog quotes. Here's an official line. I am the ultimate life form. Ben, at your leisure.
I'm the ultimate life form.
Can we try it a little less like English? And
Oh, okay, yeah. You want like
I want like a working
American?
like American
Okay.
American English. Can we try an American English?
Hold on, let me. I'm Shadow. No.
If it helps,
Um,
ultimate life form is a proper noun.
Okay. Howdy, y'all. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm the ultimate life form. That's like a working class guy from like
From like an episode of South Park. You give me like 10% less South Park,
okay.
20% more Bible Belt.
Oh, Bible Belt. Okay. The line one more time. I'm the ultimate life form.
I'm the ultimate life form. With an exclamation mark at the end.
So, dude, I'm the ultimate life form. Shaka. How was
Perfect. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're hired.
that? All right. Wonderful.
The ultimate Bible. Yeah, that's maybe
The
like
Bible
25.
Belt, they like to surf in the
Stop.
Bible
Yeah.
Belt. A lot of people don't know that.
Stop by wardrobe on your way out. Pick up your gun.
Yeah. All right, next email.
Next email says, hello, good sirs. I'm an IT student currently taking a game development class. For my final project, I am making a game where you can play as a tank with a crown on its head, and I want the game to be called Tank King. My question is this. Should I call the game Tanking with 1K or 2? I can't decide. Both options have their own merits, so I leave my fate to all of your hands.
Why
Thanks
not
for
3?
much you do. Love
Ooh.
from Indonesia. Probably don't want to go with 3.
No, no 3. Okay, all right.
What do you think about like a intercapped K?
That's what I was thinking.
I would say
Lowercase
1K
to
intercap.
start,
But then
giant K.
does that read as Tan King?
Yeah,
That's what I
Which
am.
is like
so.
that's like a. I feel like that's a riffraff moniker. That's a riffraff nickname at that point.
What if it's the in parentheses, like TAN parentheses KING, because then you could read it both ways?
Hmm.
I admit to be stealing this from the chat, but a little sweary inspiration. Tang King, all caps.
I like that.
Okay.
All caps KING.
I think you've got some options here. I think any of these are good suggestions.
I
But
think
now we
one-
are owed a producer credit.
Yeah, definitely. Executive producer credit for sure.
They're thinking about
Those are
marketing already at this early phase of development. That's smart.
Yeah.
It's good.
I feel like 1K is the right answer here, but at the same time, you need to find a way to avoid the Tan King quandary.
Yeah.
You don't want people to read it as Tan King. Or, well, I mean, what color is your tank?
Oh, yeah. He could have a Desert Storm vibe to his tank.
Yeah. If you got a tan tank in there, then I think it works on levels. You want a title that works on multiple levels.
Oh, a tan
That
tank
should be
king.
the protagonist. The protagonist tank should be like tan, like Desert Stormy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Darren from Chicago writes in, I'm currently playing through Far Cry New Dawn, which has some annoying dream sequences. I can't think of any dream sequences in any game that has actually been decent. Can you think of any? What makes an in-game dream sequence good or bad?
Does the Scarecrow stuff in the Arkham games count? That stuff was
Oh.
good and not necessarily a dream, but that,
That was my first thought as well.
yeah.
This one I feel like is one chat's gonna have a lot of opinions on. Max Payne.
Hmm.
Thought that was a bad one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those
not
were not.
falling off the invisible ledge of those things was a real pain in the ass.
I feel like there's one recently I've done.
Celeste.
Celeste.
What's
Good.
the- Oh yeah.
Just like a straight up good dream sequence.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like there's been something.
I guess like what makes it good, right? Is the other question.
It's just like, here's good gameplay that has like a weird twist that's just like, wait, what? And
yeah,
then
that's
suddenly
like
you realize
the
it's
scarecrow
like,
thing is just
yeah.
like, whoa, this is nothing like anything else. Even that one I kind of found annoying because of the bad part of dream sequences where like they should,
Oh,
like we were
fuck.
talking about escape sequences, they shouldn't be easy to fail.
Once again, stealing this from chat, but Jedi Fallen Order has some fucking kind of amazing like vision
yeah.
style shit toward the end. Like it's handled incredibly well.
What about
I need to
Dreams?
give that game another shot.
What
Dreams
Jedi?
has no dreams in it. Dreams is 100%
Dreams
real.
is no dreams.
Damn.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. I feel like I was playing that at peak Game of the Year crunch of
Yeah.
like, let's play all these games. I didn't really give it a fair shake.
They just put out a big patch on Star Wars Day. Yeah, they added like a new game plus and a bunch of other stuff to it.
Cool.
So maybe now's the time. Like I'd be curious to hear if they cleaned up the performance stuff. Actually,
Yeah.
the game's not
Say,
bad.
like waiting for your like marketing fun day to fix a game seems like a really shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Happy Star Wars Day, everybody! We fixed some shit. Yay! Like yeah.
Oh,
Totally butts.
Next
says,
email.
real fast. It performs worse since the update from what I've noticed.
Oh boy.
Sick. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. May the fuck
Tony.
be with you.
Sorry. Tony has a very important question.
All right,
I hate
Tony.
to interrupt your conversation here, but Tony wants to know what's worse: slow ass internet or no internet.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say no internet.
But what if it's really slow?
Yeah, I think that might be worse because then you're trying to do something and can't. And if you
Yeah.
don't have internet, you're just not even bothering. You're just finding something else to
Yeah.
do.
Well, there's a difference. I mean, do we mean slow ass internet or internet that is like unresponsive in a way that you don't know if it's working at all or not? Because like when I go out to my kitchen, I get internet that is just like, I don't know if this is loading or not because it's a big blackout zone. I don't know what is going on in my kitchen.
What is the slowest
but
internet you ever had? Did you do a 14.4
I had a 300 baud modem
for actual internet though? Like not
Oh,
BBSs
okay,
because
yeah.
those were like it's just
Right, right.
ANSI graphics or whatever. But like
Yes,
like
I had a 14.4 modem.
What did you try to cram a
was-
straight up PPP connection over? Because that sounds like
Yeah, I had yes, I had a 14.4 modem that I was
Okay.
using to connect to the internet
Ooh,
at some point,
that's
but I
okay. Let's say that then.
yeah. But that, you know, like that generally speaking would respond. I feel like by the time people were using PPP accounts and an actual graphical internet, I probably had a 56K
Oh wow.
or like a 33.6 or something
We
like
never-
that. Like
we never had for whatever
or
reason.
28.8. I had a
Yeah,
28.8.
28.8 is what I started on.
Mm.
That's still 3 kilobytes a second though. That's pretty slow internet.
Dude, yeah, again, like try a fucking 300 baud modem plugged into the back of a Commodore and then try to fill a floppy disk, which
Yeah, that's
is
fair.
a trivial amount of data, but it still was just like, fuck.
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
It's fucking fucked up, man. All right, give me another one.
All right. This next email comes in from Max in Arkansas. Hey, duders, if Abby wants to play Fortnite with St. Vincent, which is a new series you can watch on channelpop.com, that was me. He didn't write that. This is still me. Which artist would you want to have on a stream? Sorry, let me back up. Which celebrity would you want to have on a stream, and what game would you like to play? So ideally, if you could pick any celebrity and play a video game with them on a stream, who would you pick? What game would you play? Abby asked me this on the first episode of her show. My answer, without any time to think of it, was John Boyega, because he seems like he's probably played a video game or two before, so he would, be able to hang. And he seems like a really funny guy with a good sense of humor. I feel like we could have some fun playing something chill.
I want to play. I mean, this is very no longer possible. Say, play Wolfenstein 3D with Lemmy.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I was thinking about this yesterday also. And someone tossed out maybe playing Gears 5 with Bautista. And you're playing as Bautista with
What,
him.
Bautista doesn't get to play as Bautista?
No. Because I want to do the cool machine gun entrance.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I don't know that I have anyone. I just, it's not, I don't. celebrity is not a. I don't.
You don't have
Yeah.
anyone, no celebs you'd like to meet,
No,
and think you could pick their brain, ask them some questions.
No. No. I don't think I'd.
I think Ice-T
No.
would be another fun one for me because we were just talking about gamer shit, you know, real gamer hours.
Yeah. Talk about the new body count video.
What about here, Jeff? I get to choose yours then, since you haven't chosen one. You get to do Fusion Frenzy with Bill Gates.
Does he count as a celebrity? I guess he does.
Sure.
It's his favorite game. He'd whoop my ass. But that's fine.
That's what I want to know. I want to know if you could beat him at Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah. Well, it's the only one way to find out.
I'd play
He's
some.
not doing anything, so
No, definitely not. I'd play Nintendo with Weird Al. I bet that would be chill. I bet that would be super chill and just pleasant and uplifting.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of uplifting, hey guys, what's the best suplex? Who does the best version of that suplex? Blair in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
what?
I assumed you wrestle guys would know. What? Okay.
Who does the best suplex?
What's your favorite suplex, and who does it, and how do they do it?
okay.
And
Yeah,
is it
come
cool?
on, you wrestle guys.
Kurt Angle's like 3 in a row suplex.
Oh,
Is that
yeah,
like the ultimate atomic
it's like
buster
the-
that Zangief
like an Eddie
does?
Guerrero style kind of.
Yeah. Oh, the three amigos.
The Three Amigos. Yeah, that's. I like the you hold them up and do the thing. I don't like the release suplexes that like Brock Lesnar is doing these days. I think they just look dumb.
I feel like he's gonna
or
kill
just-
the person.
Yeah, exactly. You're just throwing a dude around and whatever. It's fine, but I like the you get a guy up all the way and hold him there for a while and then bring him down.
You like the pizzazz part of it.
What is the what is the holding them up there phase? Is that to build anticipation?
All the blood
dread?
rushes into their head, so it hurts extra hard when you drop them on it, brother.
Just let them build up some fear before you. Okay.
It's just I don't know. It looks cool. Crowds into it.
Alicia Fox has a good Northern Lights suplex.
Mm.
The bridge is essential.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Mr. Perfect's suplex.
Yeah, the perfect plex.
Yeah,
that was a finish. That was that went into a pin. So that's a pretty big deal.
Who among them can suplex a train?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the question.
I was gonna say Ultimate Atomic Buster is my favorite. It starts with him suplexing, and then he throws him up into the air and grabs him and lands with it.
it's very good. It's very good.
All right. How about one more email?
To play.
All right. After seeing Jeff finally complete Super Mario Bros. Special and the unique kind of rage that inspired, it got me thinking about when we continue a game purely out of spite. What is the most painful game / challenge / boss that you forced yourself to complete after any fun and enjoyment were long gone, and the only thing driving you was that hateful fire of 1,000 suns to complete it? The one that leaps to mind for me was the horror of getting the ultimate weapon in Final Fantasy X that required you to complete the Chocobo race with the 0 on the clock.
Oh, that was terrible. God.
Love you guys and all that you do. John in New Baltimore, Michigan.
He's not wrong. That one sucked.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever dodged 200 lightning bolts.
Yeah.
I think I didn't hate it. It was more mind numbing and just like, why am I doing this to myself? But doing I believe the achievement was called Zombie Genocide in the first
Dead
Rising. And just driving around that parking lot in the car, just doing donuts.
Wasn't that some like actually shocking number of hours required to do that? Like it wasn't like 30 minutes or something, right?
Because the game would reset too, right? You're on a timer, so you'd have to, or was it all within one?
I don't remember if it was within one
this.
run or if it was overall.
It took a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think it was overall. I think I had to do it multiple times.
Yeah, I think that's right. There was Dead Rising had a bunch of fucked up achievements like that.
Yeah.
Frank the Pimp and all that other dumb shit.
Man.
You beat Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, I was reviewing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of had to. Like, that's what the job entails sometimes. So that's the thing. Is like, you know, like most of the cases that I think would qualify for something like that are like, I'm reviewing the game. It's like, it's not, that's the thing that's driving me after a fashion in some of those situations is just like, well, I got to do this. So there's no point in getting mad about it. I just got to make this happen. And yeah, but I didn't beat Metal Gear Survive because I had to see it. Believe me, I was done with that game long before it was done with me. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers Special is not a good game. You guys should check it out.
I think
There were a couple of those pipes near the very end. That was
Yeah, some real
something else.
the people that made that game are bad people.
How many holes does a Mario pipe have?
Oh no,
One-
I can't do this.
One.
I felt that game once. I touched that game long enough to know that I'm never going to touch it again.
Part of me wants to get the like speedrun appropriate emulator and settings and stuff and just try it on and just see.
See if you could be the world record Super Mario Special holder.
Yeah, but it's just so fucking.
Are there any times out there?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone has done it. I think
Huh.
I don't know that anyone has submitted anything. So I think anything I turned in would be okay. But at this point, I'm sure, like just by talking about it and streaming it, someone else has probably taken up that challenge anyway. So someone will do it. It doesn't have to be me. If I inspire someone to endure that fucking mess of a video game, then my work here is done.
When
Just spread the suffering.
When you say speedrun appropriate, do you mean like something that the official body will accept or whatever?
Yeah, it's for PC-88 games. There's a specific emulator and the
Oh.
specific settings for said emulator that they take for that.
Huh.
But
This is a topic for another time for sure, but I wonder if the Mister will actually get there just because of the accuracy.
right, yeah, I think it could in some cases. I know there's people in different speedrun communities have definitely taken a look at the Mister and been like, I might start trying to run on this and all that stuff, but I don't know. Yeah.
Cool.
What you got? Why don't you give me? How you give me like 2 more emails? How about
Two
that?
more.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. All right. Here we go. This one's a little long, so bear with me. Hello, Bombcast. I've been thinking a lot recently about how the competitive scenes for a game often evolve to be very different from its original form. One common change made for competitive play is the removal of random game mechanics. For example, some shooters allow modifying gun spreads to be deterministic, such as Team Fortress 2, and competitive Smash tournaments to ban items. This is different from traditional sports that contain some amount of inherent randomness due to changes in things like wind conditions, weather, and other physical realities. To what degree do you think randomness has a place in competitive games? The common stance seems to be that it shouldn't exist since it can put lucky players in a stronger position. However, you can also argue that being able to compensate for a random game mechanic is as important a skill for a player to have, presuming the random events are fairly generated and no single event can make or break a match. In real life, a golfer or field goal kicker that is able to compensate for windy days is a better player. Vince from New Jersey.
I started to say if it's in the game, then it counts. And then I thought back on our many times playing Mario Party. And maybe I'm having second thoughts about randomness in competitive games.
I think I'm like, if you're going to play a game competitively and you choose to play that game, you should choose to play that game. And I think making grand modifications to it to accommodate whatever specific rules you want to do, that should be taken as seriously as like Uno house rules, or like, this is how we play Monopoly in my house. We turn off items, you know, like I would just say, like, pick it up, push start, play the game. And that should be the kind of default for a lot of games. And if you need to make a ton of changes to a game to make it feel like it's competitive and worth it for you, then maybe you should just choose a different game. I don't know. But also, like, there are certainly esports, like are there random elements in, Like there's like Roshan, there's like, does all that on a timer and does all that behave identically, or is there stuff in like
that's
Dota
another point.
that's,
Yeah,
like,
I want is that even in Smash, even in the stuff that is like unbanned, there's certain characters that have randomness. Randomness is always going to be a part of a lot of like, even if it's not a part of like all Dota characters, there is some variance. Like Ogre Magi has a certain % chance to do a multicast stun, right? Like, you know, Roshan is on a timer that comes back between 8 and 11 minutes.
Isn't the multicast one that there's actually some underlying logic and you can kind of game it if you know what you're doing?
Well, there's the Valve, like how they handle randomness in Dota is a little different than actually like true randomness. They use like I forget what it's called.
Yeah, so like in cases where there's like a pseudo random mechanic, like you could argue that's a skill that you develop to kind of min-max the randomness, right?
Yeah, and then Ian, like in the chat, brought up a great point of like battle royales. Like those are just super. The path your plane is taking, where the circle's going, what loot you're gonna find. That's all pure randomness. I think that randomness deserves a spot, but I think the line here that they said in the email, where did it go? Presuming the random events are fairly generated and no single event can make or break a match. That's where you come into the stuff of like, okay, that's where item banning came from in Smash, because it'd be a thing of like, oh, we're playing and I knocked you off the edge and suddenly I've spawned a bomb and you have a 0% chance of recovering. And that's one of your stocks gone no matter what. Like there's a level of randomness where you can plan for some randomness, but there's some things you cannot have a plan for. And it's like stuff like that, and stages that have random stage hazards where you literally can't make a plan for it. It like literally makes certain characters way stronger than other characters. Like I think that's where that stuff comes from, and I think that's where I kind of am in line with it.
I think I'm with you in spirit, but also in a case where you've got a stage that has a stage hazard that makes some characters better than others, that actually sounds exciting, because then it influences like what characters you might pick and all that other stuff, instead of just everyone playing their main all the time, no matter what. Like if it becomes like
a game though, people want to play their main.
Well, no, it's not. But like people want to play their main, but like, what if they didn't? What if they had to have multiple mains depending on what stage got chosen? What if they had to be good at more than just their main?
That's a thing now, actually. Like, but like like there's footage of one particular Smash fans will know this. But there's footage of one particular stage or a game where a player playing Ganondorf literally couldn't reach a Peach player because she's able to hover back and forth between the two platforms that are unreachable by the character, and it's just straight up, literally, if that is your main, you're fucked and you are fucked. And I don't think that level of fucked is fair. I think that like Final Destination existing as a counterpick for Fox and Falco because you can chain grab as Marth, blah, blah, blah. That's something you can deal with because there are pros and cons. I'm not saying like every game should be set on Battlefield or whatever, but there's levels to it, you know? And it's like something that comes, a lot of people don't know, like Melee was played competitively with items on for like 4 years. Like it took them time to get to where they got.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they had to like weigh that out and be like, actually, this is more fair. But like in your Ganon situation, like, okay, maybe this game wasn't built for that. Then if that's something that's still in the game that they don't care about, yeah, then at some point, like at some point you just look at that and go like, okay, how far are you going to go to bend this game to your will just so you can maintain a scene around it if the people making the game are not catering to
if they really like the
all.
game as far as they want, like as far as
I
they
guess
can.
so.
And a lot of people were into it.
I would argue that if like those are the sorts of changes they have to make, do they really like the game?
Yes.
I mean, or do they just like their particular specific cordoned off, we've like farmed or like over time honed our way into this rule set the same way. Like I don't play Uno the way Uno is out of the box because it fucking sucks. I think stock Uno is fucking boring as hell. But when you start layering on like, oh, actually I want the penalty cards to build up as you go and all this other stuff, then that becomes like well,
I mean, it's obvious. Like, yes, these people love the game. That's why they're sticking with it. They love how the game feels. They just wish that, like, I don't think it's that insane to say like this Nintendo party game has some stuff in it that's complete bullshit, but it also has all these systems in it that people really love and want to engage with and want to play for 15 years worth of fun. I don't know.
I think it's
you
just a
can have
matter
it
of like
both ways.
acknowledging what they're doing and not necessarily saying like, you know, Smash Bros is a great game. It's like, no, that's specific. But I think once you start saying I only like to play it this specific way and all this other stuff, like it's kind of a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're in agreement there. I think it's a
Yeah.
totally different thing, and I think it's fine. I think it's great, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't necessarily think that's like a disqualifying thing, but at some point it's like, I don't know, like just play the game as it was built, and if you don't like it, play something else. Like, don't, you know, why would you go fix these things for the company that can't even be bothered to care about you? Just go play something else, right? I mean,
that's when's a slippery slope, because that's a lot of video games that I play. I feel like the companies don't really care about me.
yeah, no, that's
an important
I think,
life lesson to learn.
But I think that's the thing about like esports in a lot of cases, or I don't know, like we're starting to see more of that split of like look at Valorant. Like that game had a scene before it existed, you know, like they pumped it hard. They gave it to all the right esports people to try to build this scene, and it exists whether you like it or not. Valorant is an esports game, and it will be for some chunk of time, and maybe people will move on or whatever, but like they did it. So like, do you think that esports games should be built first and foremost for that type of serious high stakes competitive play? Or do you think like when people take games that are not meant for that, like I think it's kind of fun when people take games that are not necessarily meant for that and try to take it super seriously, but when they start trying to fudge the rules and all this other stuff to make it into something it's not, I look at it and go like, you just go do something else. If you care that, like, because you see people getting mad about like, I can't believe they're not supporting the community. It's like, well, actually, isn't the Smash community like millions more players than just the people that care about esports? And like, don't they count too? And all that? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's
I don't know. Like turning off items is in the game. Like I feel like
totally,
it's
yeah,
not that,
yeah.
Calling
it's not
it
that
like a weird.
Yeah, they're not
twist
like
isn't
modding
that.
it or anything. I
Well,
agree with you there.
Look at
Not
the 20XX mod that gets rid of the stages that are banned.
Well, yeah, there is that. But like once you start coming up with a ton of house rules, I think it gets back to my Uno thing of just like, you know, I wouldn't go if I was trying to play Uno for money, which I have done. But if I were trying to play Uno for money and not just in my house against people, but like if there was some organized Uno thing, I would not get there and expect them to be playing Uno the exact rule set that I like.
Sure, but if they posted an online Facebook event and said these are the rules of Uno that we're playing, you'll know that ahead of the time. Like
exactly,
how
yeah.
every Melee tournament is standardized.
But like, I would then be like, well, I'm not going to go to that because they're playing some bullshit.
You don't have to go.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think the competitive scene around stuff is just, it's a fascinating time for video games. I think is what I'm getting at here around. Like
there's never been a better time.
There's never been a better time to fucking ignore competitive video games. But I think like that's the thing is like as someone who likes playing games against people, but is never going to want to take them seriously to the extent that esports players do, I'm finding that there are decisions being made to make games more esports that are alienating to the wider player base.
I agree with that. Totally.
And I think that's like a frustrating thing. And so that's why like I look at games like Valorant and go like, they're going for it out of the gate. They're wearing that shit on their fucking sleeve. Like Crucible launches tomorrow. Like they want that game to be like that.
Yeah.
And they, you know, build it out of the gate, build your esports strategy, build all your shit, and you know, wear it on your sleeve so that people that are not interested in that shit can just fucking ignore it. Like I spent some time with Valorant. I will probably never play it again because I feel like got a pretty good handle on what that game is and what they're going for. Totally. It's not what I'm here for. So.
Yeah, and it's like why I approach Valorant as I like playing this casually with a full stack of friends, but the second it gets competitive or people want to do ranked, I'm out because like I don't want to take it as seriously as I need to if I want to feel like I'm pulling my weight or whatever.
Totally. Like I'm not looking for that type of pressure in games, or when I am, I'm looking for it from a fighting game. Like that's, you know, and I'm never going to be esports good at a fucking fighting game, but I still like getting in there and mixing it up and doing what I can. And if I get blown the fuck up over and over again, I look at it and go like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, with the amount of time I put into this and You know, like, sure, I'm never going to be fucking amazing at some of these games, but, you know, I'll win some here and there, and against like-minded individuals or similarly skilled players, I'll win and lose and have a good time. I think that's what I'm looking for out of games, and I think games that are not trying to. I think that's maybe like it's probably the core of my issue with Smash, is that I feel like Smash is very much trying to cater to that type of attitude, but then you've got this whole group of people out there that to where, like, when you talk about playing Smash with other people, it now just means that. And I know that there are millions of people that are probably playing it that are not that, but when you think about it, it's just that. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to fuck with that. I'm not interested in that. So, I don't know. I feel like Smash is alienating, I guess, in a sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that too comes from the fact that it is just so grassroots and it's such an old game, and there is that level of like, I can't think of the word right now, but that kind of turning your nose up at newer people. You know, there's that like, oh, I've been in the scene for, you know, 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But like a lot of that comes from the defensiveness of people who are like, oh, you're not playing a real fighting game, or oh, you're like, just go play a real game, or, you know, stuff like that. Like it goes both ways.
Sure. They should just play a real fighting game.
And you should get good. Like it all comes
I
full circle.
refuse. Hey, you know what? Maybe I did get good at Smash Brothers out of the box, but they don't play it that way, so I'll never fucking know. Maybe I'm the best default ass Smash Brothers player in the world. Maybe.
You guys want to play some TMNT Tournament Fighters?
Now you're fucking
Hell
talking.
yeah.
I got this little doohickey here. I can take it wherever
That
I
short
want.
guy, his flash kick goes like full screen and it's unpunishable. It's insane.
All right. Let's get together.
One more email.
One more email. The last email is called Video Game Character Rap Battle. Hey, Bombcast, what video game character would win the most rap battles? You can't choose Parappa this year from Toronto.
Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
You think Mike's got the hottest bars?
No. I think compared to other video game characters.
I'm talking even within the Turtles.
Oh.
I think Raphael could maybe.
Yeah, Raphael, I think, is probably.
Raph is like the J. Cole of the group. He tries to be too serious and conscious, though.
Fucking meanest shit that
You're
anyone's ever
right.
said about anyone.
You're right. He's a little too edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Michelangelo just rocked. He's just got party rhymes.
Yeah, he's like a little pump.
Everyone's always saying he's just like Lil Pump.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Gruntilda from Banjo Kazooie is never not rhyming, so
That's good. That's
probably
good.
her.
And she's got magic, so she could just like
That's right.
fuck with somebody else.
Someone in the
screams
chat said
hip-hop?
Tony Yayo.
I mean, he
which
is a
no,
rapper.
No. Yeah. I mean, he is technically a rap. Technically.
I wouldn't say he's
put
the
out
best.
He put out a rap album.
Highly sought after by some.
Sure.
I guess technically John Cena, is in there.
Cena's
He's a platinum.
he's incredible. Hey, I mean,
recording artist.
E40 at that point is, Redman, if you want to get into video game characters,
That's true.
Method Man is in one of these games, so Snoop Dogg, Snoop
Dogg.
Lion,
Not Snoop
even.
Lion. He's gonna win a reggae battle, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh
you have
god,
battles in
I would
reggae
love
music.
to watch a reggae
All
battle.
those reggae battles, just toasting each other's fucking faces off.
I don't know if this qualifies as a video game character, but the chat reminded me of whoever did "Who Do You Voodoo" from Dead Island. Yeah,
Was that also a character in the game?
it might have
That was
actually. I think
supposedly
it
the
totally. You're
performer
right. Oh,
of
it
that?
totally was a character. There was
Yeah.
totally like a famous rapper in universe who did that song. That's right.
Yeah.
I think he's in the game. I think he's one of the playable characters.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I
Oh,
believe he's
shit,
one of the
that's
playable
right.
characters. Yeah,
That's right.
so I guess it's got to be him.
It's got to be that guy.
Yeah.
Sam B. That's
Sam
him.
B.
That's
His
him.
name was Sam B.
That's right.
Hell yeah, Sam B. You heard of Max B, but what about Sam B? Now that's wavy. I don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
That's it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. Feel free to write in with your hottest. Don't actually, no. There is no follow up to the video game rap battle. Do not send in.
Oh yeah, no. You feel free to send in like a fun video game rap.
Yes, absolutely. Send in your fun video game raps, and we will rap them.
Write some verses in character. Just make sure you specify the character.
Yeah, write verses, and we will perform the verses over beats. That's
Say if you want American Shadow the Hedgehog or Canadian.
Yeah. And we will perform said raps. That's gonna do it for the show.
We're gonna put on a whole virtual concert like Travis Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yeah. Can we make a giant?
We're gonna need a lot of redstone.
Yeah. And trees. What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna do it. After show coming up, probably pretty abbreviated because we ran a little long here. But we'll come back for the after show a little bit and maybe take some questions. And otherwise we'll see you next week with the Giant Bombcast. Premium memberships on sale, giantbomb.com/upgrade. Hit up that special kind of rush with 12 months of action. See ya.